The Galactic Soul, the Honorable Brother, the Revolutionary yourself, Darius Lockhart, and I'm here to tell you to watch Powerbombshells every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern on the Fight Game Media YouTube channel. That's right, every Sunday at 1 p.m., and that's on time, every time, because when we stand together, what time is it? That's right, it's nation time.
Welcome to Powerbombshells 189. I'm Mel, that's Sam. We're just two broads talking about the wrestling we're watching. My webcam died because of my Windows update, so I stole my husband's web camera and ran on over here, and this might be the best picture ever, and we might have to stick with this. I don't know.
Yeah, she was having technical difficulties before, of course, because it's live streaming, so of course one of us is having technical difficulties, which is funny because last night at 7:57. It was raining really hard and our internet went down. I have live coverage of Collision in 3 minutes and no internet. And I was like, crap. So I sent a message over to the Slack just to let them know. Apparently the message didn't send, which I didn't know until after the fact. So we tried restarting it. We tried doing a couple things. So Nikki was like, I'm just going to restart the router. So we did that. It worked, thankfully. And I was only like I started Dynamite at like 8:08. And so, I mean, not Dynamite, Collision. And luckily, so then I was worried that the DVR didn't record those first 8 minutes and I was going to have to start my live coverage like into the match. But luckily the DVR did record everything that I missed. And so I started from the beginning and I was like, I don't know how closely people were following along to live coverage, but I was like, sorry, this is like super late because technical difficulties. And now they have transferred over to Mel, but now Mel has a very lovely camera thanks to her husband's camera. So are you muted?
I am muted because I was actually putting a, crinkling and stuff, and I didn't want to do that while you were talking. Yes. And it's snowing here on top, so we got our first snow of the season. Yeah.
Wow.
I should have known. I should have known because Microsoft, every time they update something, they pwn something on your machine. Like, that's their new thing. It's like, oh, sorry, that's out of date. We've decided we're no longer going to support it. Have a nice life. It's a good thing we have a backup for work here at this point. Otherwise, I've been doing this show on my phone, which wouldn't have been a whole bunch of fun. I'm like, and it's snowing. But in your case, it's kind of like technology went right because at least the DVR saved your bum.
Thank goodness, because I thought it wasn't going to record because we didn't have internet like when it started. So I thought it wasn't going to record. And I was like, I'm going to have to like write in my live coverage match in progress something like that. And I'm like, sorry, I missed it. And somebody, because they opened with obviously a FTR match, and one of my fellow writers was like, you could just be like, they exchange holds and the crowd jeers, and he's like, and then you wouldn't be that far off. It would sound like an FTR match.
Wow. I started realizing that FTR matches, much like for people it used to be women's matches or whatever, or even Jericho, right. It's FTR matches now. That's when I get snacks. That's when I take my bathroom break.
With coverage, I unfortunately
know you can
watch. However, at least in last night's case, I had Juice Robinson on the other side of the ring. Because I love him, and he and Austin killed it last night.
Yeah, they did.
Look great. And I need Juice and Austin to start picking up some more wins. And then Kyle Fletcher and Ace Austin, that match got announced at 7:30. They come out an hour later and put on like that. They just put on like this incredible banger that they had on a pay-per-view level match last night.
Yeah,
and I was like, I love Kyle Fletcher, but I'm going to need Ace Austin to have a title sooner rather than later. Because
we were talking about that today. It's kind of time for these titles to get put on younger or newer guys and get switched
and that's
around
not to take anything away from Kyle Fletcher because I'm a huge Kyle Fletcher fan.
No. I just think he's on a newer level.
Yeah, but Ace, I mean, I've been a fan of Ace since I first saw him on the indies when he came to my local promotion. So I followed his career for a really long time. And one thing that watching Ace did make me miss Chris Bay because obviously they were tag team partners. And I'm a huge fan of Chris Bay as well, so it did make me miss him. But I think that ace just looked incredible last night, and I saw a couple of tweets from him last night, and he was talking about how fast Kyle Fletcher was, and like he didn't have time to get. He was like talking about a specific move, and he's like, I didn't have time to get my legs down, and he was just talking about like how just crazy that match was, and I put it on. Because I have on my match of the year's contenders list, I have like honorable mentions, which are basically really great matches that aren't quite match of the year. And I don't have a specific like reason on what's a match of the year contender and what's not. I just put, and so like I added it to my honorable mentions list because that match was fantastic.
It was really good. And
I am a fan of Mark Briscoe, but like that match should be the match that Kyle is having at Full Gear, not another match with Mark Briscoe.
Probably true. And I hope the reason that they are having the match is so that they're belting Mark Briscoe. And
I feel like that is the case because I think they are setting Kyle up for something, for moving him up into a big boy belt. Not that the TNT title is.
No, but I think
that's
it's a great
title
situation for Mark Briscoe, who is awesome, and he can go around with that title, and he can ride that out for a bit, and he can put guys over over the place.
Right, and I think that Kyle, like we've been saying that, like I think within the next 12 to 18 months, Kyle is going to be world champion.
Oh yeah, I think he's on track.
So I feel like they're moving him. Maybe he eventually, like maybe they're moving him into like the C2. Maybe he could potentially be the one to dethrone Okada, or he's going to be at least in line for that title. I think they're moving Kyle on to something else, which I'm not thrilled they're doing this. They could have just done this match to begin with. Like then you should have had Kyle wrestle somebody else last month. We don't need this paper. We're Full Gear, which we'll obviously get into more, especially next week when we do the week after when we do the pre-show. But like. I don't like that we're repeating matches. Like I don't like that we're doing Samoa Joe and Hangman again. I don't like that we're doing Kyle again. At least with Mercedes and Chris, even though we've had that before, it's been several months, and it makes sense storyline wise because the women's world title is the one belt that Mercedes has not been able to win yet. That's the story. That should be your main event, but we heard last night. It is not the main event. Tony Schiavone was running through the card last night and said your main event is Hangman Page and Samoa Joe. So,
yikes.
So I was like, well, there goes one question for Tony. Now I know what I knew my question would either be, what finally, after all this time, why did you finally decide that Chris and Mercedes would main event? But since that's clearly not happening, now my question
aren't they main eventing?
What do the women have to do to earn a shot to main event? Because they've done it. You've had multiple stories that could have main evented. Why is it now? And so I was talking to Nikki about it last night, and I was like, there's got to be a reason that Samoa Joe and Hangman is main eventing over them. And I was like, because even if Samoa Joe wins the title, you don't have to close the show with that. Like you could have had that be the penultimate match and then have the women close, and it would have been fine if that's the thing. My guess is, I hate it, but my guess is MJF is coming back and is going to try to cash in his contract. I don't know if he'll actually cash in right then and there, but I think he's going to come back, and it's he's either going to cash in there, or they're going to set it up for World's End, because at World's End, that's where Samoa Joe thankfully ended that god-awful devil storyline and beat MJF to become the champion. So I'm guessing they want MJF to redeem himself maybe at World's End. And so I that's my only theory for why you would put that match over the women's match.
And is he done doing what he was off doing, like
I have
filming?
no idea. I don't know.
So you don't know.
I don't know. That's just my guess. Because I was thinking about, I was like, because I was like, Chris and Mercedes is the story. That story should absolutely be main eventing a pay-per-view. What is the reason Tony would not let them main event here? And my only... That makes sense. That's the only thing I could come up with, was because I was like, even Samoa Joe beating Hangman, they could still do that and not have it be the main event. So my only other guess is
probably right.
Is coming back. And again, like I said, I don't know if he's going to.
Which answers the question that Bob asked me this morning, which is, where's MJF?
He's been filming a movie.
Probably showing back up. I know he's been filming.
He's been filming stuff, and I'm assuming he's gone on his honeymoon because Alicia hasn't been around.
Oh, that's right.
Either.
They did. There was that also.
So I that's my guess. Again, I don't. But that's the only thing that I don't necessarily agree that should close Full Gear, even if MJF comes back. But I feel like that's the reason.
That makes more sense.
He's either cashing in that contract or he's going to attempt to, and it's going to mess up the match somehow. Maybe Hangman still retains, even though despite MJF's efforts, and then they do MJF Hangman at World's End. Is my guess.
Wow.
That's my theory. I could be way wrong, but that's the theory.
Sounds like it, when you say it though. Now you say it, it makes sense. It does make a little too much sense.
I know I'm not thrilled about it, and of course
it does make sense though.
It makes sense. It makes sense for Tony. Tony is going to put MJF.
That's very Tony. That's a
Tony is going to book MJF over the women. It's what's going on.
I mean, I've noticed there's been noticeably more wrestling on the TV since he hasn't been around.
Yeah.
More time for that sort of thing.
Right. Yeah. Oh wait, and the Newark building or the building where are they at for World's End? They're not on Long Island again this year, are they? I can't remember where World's End is. Hang on, I'll see if I can pull it up real quick because I forgot.
I don't.
I hope Hangman doesn't
far
lose
ahead.
I hope Hangman does not lose the pay-per-view that's named after him. That would suck.
That would be dumb. But
I
think they need to. I kind of think he still needs to have the belt still. I don't.
I am not a fan of him dropping this title now. I'm hoping that's not where they're going with it, but it would not surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. But
oh, wait, is World's End in Chicago? Oh, you know what? I think it is.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think it's in the Now Arena.
They haven't been back there for 5 minutes, right?
Yeah. Gotta get them back over there. And Prudential. Okay, Prudential is where Full Gear is at. Oh, that's right. Michael, thank you for the reminder. He has to give a week's notice for the cash-in. Oh, so he's coming back and he's gonna try to get involved in the match, and then he's gonna cash in for a World's End then.
Sounds like
probably. It. That's my guess. I mean, they could do it for like Winter is Coming. But I don't think that would be. I think it'd save that for a pay-per-view because MJF got to have a pay-per-view match. So
now that you say it,
I feel like so MJF, regardless if he so now that thank you for the reminder, Michael, that he has to give a week's notice. So yeah, he's definitely coming and trying to get involved or doing something, or he'll come back after the match or some shit, and that's how they'll go off the air is with MJF there. Yes. So. So there's that, and then also like there's so much. I was telling Mel, I was like, we have so much stuff to talk about. Like I thought we were just gonna have a few things, and then the wrestling world was like, no, you have more. But like, so even before we get into all that, after Collision ended last night, had just finished. I got caught up because obviously I was behind. I just finished publishing stuff, and I get a tweet sent to the group chat that Deadlock Pro Wrestling has announced that they have a show in Japan next year, but beyond that, their show in December is their last show for the foreseeable future. They didn't give any details on why that is. It will be a show. It's in Cary, North Carolina, which is about 2.5 hours from me. They are going to have the show will basically be a benefit show. All proceeds are going to a food bank in North Carolina. And then for people who can't go to the show, they are going to open up that link where people can still donate. And then DPW is matching up to $10,000 in donations on top of that, which is incredible. But losing DPW is a monumental blow to not only the North Carolina indie scene, but to indie wrestling in general. If you were a fan of like peak ROH, like mid 2010s, you were a fan of PWG, DPW has filled that void for a lot of people. They have turned on a lot of fans to a lot of talent. They have compelling storylines. They have banger matches. I've been lucky enough to go to a handful of shows, and they've always been incredible. They've always been a blast. The energy is amazing. It's just a huge blow. And I really hate to see that, that they will be going away from any amount of time. Hopefully it's not the end. Hopefully there be a way that they can come back in the future. But it's a huge blow. And I just saw the reaction from both fans and talent last night.
Yeah, that sucks.
There was a ton of just so many talent, just, they can't believe it. They talked about how they found a home there. How, DPW believed in them when nobody else did, and just all of this incredible stuff. And then you have people like workers who like work in lighting or, photography or wherever, and talked about how, DPW believed in them and all of these things. And it's a really awful situation. And I'm so thankful that we decided to go to the show last month.
Me too.
And it was really, it was a great show. I got to see Jake Something win the title again. Queen Aminata got crowned as the DPW Women's Champion. Unfortunately, with her injury, which we will talk about, they had a show on Friday in Cary, and she could not compete because she's not medically cleared, as we found out from AEW as well. And so it sucks. Then, and I forgot, I didn't originally share this story because I was waiting, because it was the day DPW was premiering and I didn't want to spoil it for anyone. But Brian Keith showed up during the show to make a challenge to Eric Stevens. They wrestled on Friday, but after the show, Nikki and I met Brian. He had his merch table out, and we were trying to decide, because we wanted to talk to Queen Aminata, but she had a line of men who wanted
I bet
take a picture of her because she wasn't at a table. She was just like coming back, and she stopped to take a photo with one guy, and then that turned into 10 guys. And then they were like, they appeared to be super respectful and things of that nature, but like she wasn't even at a merch booth or anything. And so we could see Brian Keith, and we went around to his table to see if he had any merch, and he didn't have shirts, but he flew in just to do this confrontation with Eric Stevens. But he did have some stickers that I have on my desk. I don't know how well they will show up, but I got this one.
Nice.
And I got this one.
Ooh.
And these are shirt designs that he made into stickers. And so
Cool.
I purchased one, and Nikki purchased one, and we were talking about how we didn't know which one we wanted. And so then he gave us, after we purchased one, he gave us an additional one. And then he took pictures with us, and we only talked to him for a few minutes because security at Grady Cole is very strict. They want you to get the hell out.
Yep.
And they rush you really bad. It's happened every time I've been to Grady Cole that they rush you out of there. And so we were being rushed. Nikki didn't like her picture and asked if she could take another one. And he's like, yeah, sure. And as she's saying that, this woman's walking up trying to kick us out. And so we got another pic, but they did get to redo their picture at least before they kicked us out. So we only got a few minutes with him, but he was wonderful. So it was really nice. So, I mean, that's a really cool thing from DPW. And DPW gave me one of my dream tag team matches. I drove to Raleigh specifically to see the Workhorsemen wrestle Motor City Machine Guns.
Right.
So, that was one of my favorite things. I never would have gotten that match had it not been for DPW. And so I'm very thankful that they did those things. And so it's going to be a huge blow. But luckily, and it's hard because Prestige is also having their last show next month as well. And I know that running a wrestling company is very hard. And for all we don't know the reasons. Maybe it's finances. Maybe it's just burnout. Like, it's hard mentally.
It's rough out there right now, kids.
Yeah. And then, you have the economy on top of that. So maybe they're worried that companies that fans aren't going to be able to afford tickets. And there's a lot of factors that could go into their reasonings for this. And so, but thankfully, we have Ashe Wrestling in North Carolina and just in indie wrestling in general. So I hope that people who supported DPW will then turn that support to Ashe, whether that's coming to shows or purchasing shows or joining their Patreon that they just launched and all that. But I mean, this is why Mel and I always bang the drum about supporting
your local wrestling.
Because they are a lifeblood to the industry, to your community. It brings money into your community. It's how people hopefully stick around. And of course, you know, we get it in the economy being what it is, that sometimes you just can't. And so, but a lot of them do have cheaper tickets. They do have like GA tickets that are $5 and $10, which I know sometimes even that is a lot. But if you are able to support your local independent wrestling, or even if it's not your local, but there's an independent wrestling company that you like that you can watch online, talk about them online, buy their shows,
subscribe to their stuff.
Yeah, subscribe
them over, just share their things. Just like, I mean, just the basic grassroots stuff really helps. And
yeah,
I mean, it gets people's eyes on the product. I mean, in a time when, I mean, the big argument or the big convo online, one of the, you know, is how much more expensive, you know, tickets are getting for everything and la la la. And it's like, yeah, but indie wrestling's still out there, and that's still pretty, I mean, family friendly most of the time.
Right.
So, and you can still have a good time. It may not be big stadium, whatever.
Sure.
I've seen kids literally like hanging out at wrestling shows and becoming friends with each other at wrestling shows. So I feel like that's better than a big sort of stadium situation anyway.
Yeah.
In times like these.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know. I wish we had gotten the chance to talk to GYV. Yeah, because that's what Nikki and I were talking about. Like, this is how we saw some of this talent, because GYV is not on TV. So this is how we saw them. Sometimes it's about the only time we got to see Workhorsemen.
Yeah.
You know, there. And then we got to see, like, obviously we got to see, you know, Queen Aminata. That's where we see Violence is Forever, because GCW doesn't come around anymore, and Violence is Forever sometimes wrestles for them. And so, like, they kind of filled that void of like us getting to see talent. Like you know, we got to see all kinds of different talent. Like we saw MXM there before they went to AEW. They showed up at the Raleigh show that we were at with Motor City Machine Guns. MXM showed up there, and just like, so there's just all these cool things. And it's really unfortunate that, you know, another indie is going, especially an indie like DPW that cares so much about the product that they put out and about exposing new talent to the masses. I mean, that's where, even though Lucky Ali, which is Saquon Sugars, and Malachi, who is now Javon Evans, of course, they got their start in PWX, but DPW is part of what continued getting their names on the map, and now they're with WWE. And who knows if they would have gotten that opportunity without them, because they were showcased there and showcased prominently. They were both champions in DPW, and so it's just it's very unfortunate. But I just wanted to make sure before we got into stuff that we talked about them, because again, like, I was just at their show, and it was funny because now this email makes sense. When they send the email out, it said our last time at the Grady Cole Center, and I was like, oh, maybe they're just, when they come back to Charlotte, they'll just wrestle another venue, because Grady Cole, while it's historic, it's not the greatest for a modern day wrestling show. Ashe had their first show there as well. And then I went back last night and I was like, that must have been what they meant. They knew that they were going on hiatus. And so it was our last time literally to see them there. I mean, hopefully they do come back and it is just a hiatus. But I was like, oh, now that email makes that subject line makes sense. Because I asked around, I was like, are they just going to be in a different venue? And somebody was like, somebody that I know has a little bit of a connection. They're like, I'm not super like tied into them, so I'm not sure. I just know that when, you know, that it's not been the easiest place to run is, you know, that place. So, but yeah, so that was some sad news coming out of that.
Never like to see that.
Yeah, no, not at all. And of course, I mean, I don't want to see that with any promotion, but it definitely hits a little harder when it's a promotion. Close, and now, like Nikki and I are talking about, like, we've lost 2 local promotions in the last few years, like, because PWX was our was our local promotion. We went for 11 years to PWX. There was a 4-year stretch of time where we didn't miss a single show from PWX. And then we didn't know the last show was the last show. Thankfully with DPW, we at least know this is the last show, at least for the foreseeable future. PWX, we didn't know. We went to the show. They were talking about,
and then it was done.
They did a Lucha Mania, which was like obviously mostly like lucha wrestlers, and it was outside at a parking lot at this venue. They've never done it before. They talked about we talked to the owner, and they were talking about running there again and trying to get like maybe like trying to figure out like liquor license things to when you're at these things. And so they were like talking about it, and then all of a sudden it just didn't come back. and now the owners are involved in New Japan of America. They
right.
Patrick is pretty, and I think USVA guy. He knows them. He's worked with them. And so yeah, they're like I think Patrick is I forget what his official title is, but he's doing like I think he does a bit more than Brian does. But then like a lot of when they were running, a lot of like the camera crew and stuff were from PWX that was helping out New Japan, and when they were running some of the US shows here. But yeah, so at least we got a little bit of a heads up with DPW, because from PWX we did not get that at all. And then they finally went on Facebook like a few months later and we're just like, yeah, we're not coming back. They're like, maybe one day we'll do like a final show, but that was like 3 or 4 years ago. So that's not happening probably ever.
Clay didn't help.
Yeah, so there's that. And another thing that I want to talk about before we get into what was scheduled for this show, because we had things scheduled, and then of course things happened. And so Friday night around 5:00, we found out that Janelle Grant's team had filed a motion against Dr. Harlan Colker, who treated her on behalf of Vince McMahon. And Peak Wellness is the facility that he runs. That's where her treatments took place. She's been fighting them for a long time to get access to all of her records, medical records, payment stuff, because she maintains, she never paid for her treatments. Someone else did. One of the things she's been trying to find out through discovery is who paid them. Was it Vince McMahon or WWE? Did it come from Vince McMahon's personal bank account, or did WWE, did he write it off as a business expense? So she was trying to uncover this information, which is what discovery is for. The judge sided with her, like, you have to do these things. You need to provide this information. They told them back in August, like, you have to give her everything she's asking for. Well, it turns out that's not been happening.
No.
They've provided one single document plus a copy of a screenshot of a text message between Janelle and Dr. Colker.
And they've been stalling and filing pointless waivers and wasting the court's time, frankly. Yeah. I mean, I hope that
making Janelle continue to live through the worst period of her life by stalling and not giving her access to her own medical records.
Well, and it looks like, I mean, from the outside looking in, and this is pure speculation, but from the outside looking in, they're waiting to hear what big boss man has to say about what the moves are and so forth, or they don't have any medical records to begin with. And sorry, this is like really slippery, and I have like the finest hair in the world, so it just keeps moving. Okay, there we go. Let me see if I can get it there. But I mean, it just seems like, yeah, they've been like intentionally stalling, because this struck me when I saw you and BJ were talking about this, and BJ reported it, and I saw it on his things for us. Yeah. I wonder if this is them maybe turning also a la John Laurinaitis, because a lot of what Vince's team has been trying to do is to get it into arbitration and do all these other things. And I think that they were on that boat, but all of a sudden, like, they're going to turn around, like this judge is saying, like, turn over the documents, but they're saying, okay.
they're saying, well, they're also they're stalling. And in the Dr. Kolker's lawyer basically said they were done. They were like, we're done. We're not turning over everything else, which is why Janelle's team filed this complaint or this motion on Friday, because this motion is because they're failing to turn this stuff over. They are requesting that they're requesting for the judge to have Kolker testify why he allegedly refuses to give the court ordered discovery. And Kolker's attorneys, they have let's see here. I'm trying to read because BJ said Kolker's attorneys at the hearing on October 24th and through the cases, they are saying that there is no discovery to provide, but obviously Grant's team said yes there is, and you've been ordered to do so, and they're saying no. Basically, they're like, no, that's it. There's nothing left. So that's why this motion. They are now at this point. They are trying to get Dr. Kolker under oath to testify about while they're not turning stuff over.
So he is still kicking the can down the road and trying to get out of this and filing nonsense.
I received a statement from Grant's team, and they said to date, Dr. Carlin Kolker and Peak Wellness have engaged in persistent stalling tactics that have only prolonged this deeply painful process for Ms. Grant. We have respectfully asked the court to intervene and compel compliance with our bill of discovery request once and for all. So that's where that stands. There's like a book, there's a procedural, like because I read the motion Friday night before my Wrestling Inc. shift, because it's like 19 pages. And they have there is the Connecticut practice book, and that's required by the bill of discovery order, and the Connecticut practice book, it like lays out what his team is supposed to be doing, and they're not following it, which is why now they've had to file this motion, is because they won't stop fucking around, basically. And so and then obviously I'm sure the way his lawyers have been acting, I'm sure they're going to file a response back and say no, and then her team is going to have to file back, and then we have the holidays coming up, so this is probably going to drag into next year. And then also,
you're right,
as BJ pointed out, her federal lawsuit against Vince and WWE was stayed on July 1st, while the judge in the case decides whether to allow for discovery ahead of a motion for an arbitration hearing. So that's where things are in both of Janelle Grant's case. And this is why we said way back on day one when we started reporting this, that this is going to take a very long time.
It's not going to get easier with the way things are right now.
And so,
that's of concern too, because what if this guy sees a courtroom and then something else happens?
Yes. So, it's a mess. And so that's where there's a lot of grandstanding going on, it sounds like, and just them not wanting to cooperate. And so now they're having to get the court involved once again to make them do what they were already told to do. And so, once we have any more updates, we'll let you know about that. But my guess is
releasing documents isn't a really big deal.
Apparently
seems to be not as big of a deal as it should be these days.
Yeah, maybe there's some certain files that should be released.
That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to give you all an update on that, since I got that like I said, that was late Friday afternoon when we got the news about the motion. So that's where things stand, and we will let you know what comes next, but most likely it's going to be his team fighting this motion because of the way they've been acting. That's probably what happens next. Thank you, Crash. We are definitely we'll definitely keep you posted anytime there's information, because that's a case that we want to see through for sure.
Yeah. And Sam does a great job.
Yes.
She really follows it.
Yeah. And that's one thing that we've talked about a lot is, thankfully, Janelle Grant has an excellent lawyer and an excellent team who is not going to let people use the law to continue to run all over Janelle.
They've been through this before. They know what these guys are going to do and what lengths they're going to go to scramble the message and mess with the court situation, and
Yes. So.
I'm glad that she's got that. Like, Ann Callis is great, and I'm glad that team is continuing to. And again, the more you guys talk about it, the more it stays in the forefront, and
right,
the more we're talking about it.
That's another thing. Like, we want to make sure people don't forget. Just because you see, well, he's not there lately, but just because you see Brock Lesnar on TV does not mean
he's not named 44 times in it.
He's not been cleared of a thing. That case is still, that litigation is still ongoing. This is just WWE doing whatever they want because they want him on TV, and they think that they can get away with it. And they think, by fans who don't closely follow what's happening, they think, oh, Brock is on TV, he did nothing wrong.
Right.
Which is, that's what they want to tell people. That's the whole reason they've even brought him back, because Brock Lesnar, nobody tunes in to watch Brock Lesnar. He's not a draw. He hasn't been a draw in I don't know how long. Like, I think
I don't get with him. It's like, okay, on top of being named 44 times in a sex trafficking lawsuit,
right?
Who wants to see Brock Lesnar in 2025?
Apparently, that dude sitting behind me at AEW.
Well, that was the one guy, though.
Apparently him, but yeah. I
mean, but that makes up. That's like anecdotally the smallest percentage ever.
Right? Yeah, I don't know. There is.
And I mean, we've done very scientific Twitter polls here, but
yes, of course, we have various.
Except for that one dude.
That was before somebody took over, so now they're less scientific.
That's true. Yeah.
No, he's not currently been on TV recently, but he is he's all over the WrestleMania ad that they've been showing, and he was in the picture.
No, Brock is writing WWE TV crash.
But he is. But yeah, he has not been on TV recently, but Survivor Series is the 29th, so the week after Full Gear. I assume he's going to be.
They're not counter-programming Full Gear right now?
No, they're a week later. Then they're having, but guess what? They're having their show out at a baseball stadium too.
Weird.
They're having it where the Padres play.
Weird. That's so weird.
So weird that they just happen to book a baseball.
I wonder why they did that. It's so just it's got to be a coinky dink.
Yeah, just a baseball stadium in November.
They said back in my day.
Yeah, just a baseball stadium in November. That's all. In San Diego. Fine. But yeah, so I assume he'll be back soon for that to do. But listen, Survivor Series, I don't know. Nobody knows what's happening. Like, there's no clear path on the War Games matches. Like, I don't know what it
sounds like they've lost the plot a bit over there.
They have very much lost the plot. Like, I saw a comment from Paula, I think it was from Paula Beck the other day, talking about how they don't book wrestling for good matches. They build it for like something like stories or whatever, but their stories are not good. Like, just they're not doing they're doing a lot. Most of the stuff happening in there is not good. Like, Ilya Dragunov,
I get it from like my timeline, so it's like, and usually it's after SmackDown, and I just kind of gauge, like, I take the temperature of where everybody's at, and holy cow, does not sound good.
No, they don't know what they're doing over there, and the most like entertaining thing is because like when Sami Zayn was U.S. champion, he brought back the open challenge that John Cena used to do, and it was like in honor of him retiring, and he asked John Cena, "Can I bring this back?" And so he was having really phenomenal matches, and then Ilya Dragunov returned from injury and beat Sami like 4 weeks ago, and so he has continued the open challenges and just been having banger matches. So like that's been like the one highlight. So I was like, thankfully there's that.
There's a silver lining.
There's not a lot going on. Their women's division, and especially on SmackDown, is not good. They're gonna run in. They don't have enough people, so they're gonna run into the same problem they had with Tiffany Stratton with Jade Cargill now as champion. There's not enough people to challenge her for the title, and it's just gonna be a repetitive thing of the same people trying to get the title. Until hopefully Bianca Belair will be back soon. That finger that she broke at WrestleMania apparently something that went down to the knuckle and has been like healing. It's been taking a lot longer to heal than they expected. So hopefully she will come back, and I assume they think that she's going to come back and be the one to dethrone Jade, I guess is where they're going with this. But like, it's just, there's a lot of just random things happening week in and week out. It's just, yeah, it's and then like, I'm so like, even Cody is not keeping my attention. I'm so tired of him and Drew McIntyre. We thought we were getting away from that. Aleister Black challenged him to a match. The match was decent. And then of course Drew McIntyre got involved. And so now it looks like we're getting Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre and Aleister Black at SummerSlam.
Okay.
Now Logan Paul is in the title picture on the other side because CM Punk won and was basically like, anybody who's worthy, come out here. And Logan Paul came out here and he was like, you're not worthy of anything near a title. And then Logan Paul seems like they made it look like he was turning babyface, but then he decked CM Punk and I think is joining the Vision with Paul Heyman. I don't know. It's
wow.
Yeah, it's not
that
good.
Sounds like a ride.
Yeah, it's bleak over on the WWE side of things. So
just sorry about that, friends.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what I'm stuck watching.
Yikes.
Is that when I could be watching New Japan and DPW.
I know. I gotta get me some. I mean, I need a day to just binge New Japan.
Yes, I did go back, and me and Nikki did go back and watch last Tuesday. We watched Tsuji versus Tana and Goto versus Takeshita. Both great matches. Of course, we already knew that Tsuji had challenged Takeshita. It's a title for title match. I was already into it anyway. Press conference really helped even more. And then, of course, I didn't watch New Japan yesterday, but I did, of course, saw the video like everybody else. Okada came back with his old music and with Ghetto. And that place went crazy. Like, you could hear it. Like, when the coin dropped, they lost it. But when that man came through the curtain, like, they lost it for real. So I know there's a lot of chatter on the internet, but sounds to me like the fans don't give a shit.
It's chatter from people. I saw someone on the timeline put it perfectly. They said, how many of the people that are complaining have actual subscriptions to New Japan World? Because probably if you are New Japan, when I heard this, I know that there's all this stuff, like people were fantasy booking Nakamura into this spot, which I don't think was ever real.
No, I don't think so either. But from what I understand, Tana apparently was helping fuel speculation by hinting at it.
Well, why wouldn't he? Because it drives the narrative.
Right. But I guess some people see it as a bait and switch, which I can kind of see that. Like, if the president of your company, who is also a wrestler, is kind of hinting at things. But I think in most cases, we all know that WWE is not going to allow a wrestler to go to New Japan knowing that they have a working relationship with AEW and that their current champion is an AEW contracted wrestler.
Right.
WWE is absolutely not going to let that happen.
Totally different. It was totally different with Muda. Dude was not carrying around the New Japan title on AEW television.
Right. Just like Adam Copeland is not going to be in this tournament to face John Cena. He is not going to be there. That's not happening. You have to remember who WWE is. They're not allowing things to happen.
Yeah, seriously, I don't.
Not gonna. And I'm sorry if you fell for the hype from Tana, because you should know better when WWE is on the other end of that.
I think Tana intentionally pushed that because I think that is what wrestlers do, and that's what carnies do, and that's what promoters do. He's trying to sell things. He's trying to sell January 4th, and they've been having a tough year.
Right. And they've already sold, like, without even knowing what the matches were. They've already sold 32,000 tickets. That's even before. That's what the announced number was when they had the press conference with Takeshita and Tsuji. They had already sold 32,000 tickets. And now they've increased that. And now you know that Tana is wrestling Kazuchika Okada.
Well, and that makes that makes more sense. It kind of makes more sense anyway. It's a full circle moment. It's a really great moment, and I think that'll be great. And I'm really glad that the fans had the reaction they had, because everybody's like, "Oh, they're gonna hit Okada when he comes." No. Literally, if you hear Tanahashi and Okada in the Tokyo Dome, and it does not make your heart beat fast, then
I'm sorry.
I don't know if you have a pulse. Actually,
yeah. Because and that's
not a wrestling pulse anyway.
My three guesses were Okada, Omega, and Shibata. But New Japan is mad at Shibata, and they don't want Shibata. They don't agree that Shibata wrestles. So they don't want the liability. That was a long shot, but Shibata is more likely to have happened than it being Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke's like Bata, like the probability of that happening is like not even 1%.
Everybody's like working themselves into a shoot about Shinsuke. Well, everybody's working themselves into a shoot, and it's about Shinsuke for months now. And I'm sitting over here going, guys,
it's not happening.
No. Are you serious?
Come on. Never gonna be.
Not even for 5 seconds did I think, when that was talked about, that was ever happening.
No, I knew, the same thing, because I was like, WWE is not going to let an AEW let their wrestlers go to New Japan, because they haven't, even without Takeshita being their champion.
Yeah.
They're not going to let him go. They have a working relationship with AEW and have had that for years. That's the reason they went and found a relationship with AAA. Because of CMLL, and that's why they have the relationship with Marigold. That's why they went to Marigold. Is because they wanted Julia, who they fumbled, and Julia she lost the title after 133 days. She defended it 3 times, counting her match with Chelsea on Friday that she lost by Chelsea cheating, which makes sense for Chelsea's character. But that title has meant, and which is what I said way back when they announced these mid-card titles. I was like, you can't even book the titles you have. These titles aren't going to mean anything. And here we are a month later, and those titles don't mean anything. I don't know how you fumbled Julia, but Julia was never going to be a good fit for WWE.
I know how you fumbled Julia.
You don't do anything.
It's called the right with WWE.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing.
The same way they fumbled Toni Storm and Ricochet and so many of the amazing wrestlers we're seeing on Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Yeah,
they fumbled her right into one of the hottest wrestlers in wrestling.
Yes, they did. Yes, they are the king of petty. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
Michael said, I got shocked twice this weekend because I watched New Japan and Stardom, and Okada and Megan Bayne popping up shocked me. I saw Megan Bayne wrestle Godzilla. I didn't know the details of like how that happened. I heard that too. Yeah. Which the clips I saw looked great.
I saw all my Joshi friends were happy, and I love when my Joshi friends are happy. So.
Megan and Bozilla, that's how I saw Bozilla the first time, was when Bozilla came over for Joey Janela's spring break, and she wrestled Megan there, and I was immediately impressed with Bozilla.
I saw her on the Collectives weekend too.
Yeah.
That was definitely when I saw
her.
And
I've been hearing her name a lot,
of course,
coming into that weekend, and then seeing her, and I was very impressed with her. And so that's, so that was exciting. But so that's where things stand. They did yet another press conference at 3 a.m. of Tana and Okada. Okada says that he is not having he said Retro Okada was for one night only, meaning yesterday. He claims he's not coming out with Ghetto. He's not coming out to the old music, and he's wrestling more of his AEW style than his New Japan style against Tana, is what he said. How much of that is true, I don't know. How much I believe Okada when he says he's not going to wrestle.
Dude's going to come out in that old jacket with the pants on.
That's what I am. Is he gonna come out as Long Boys?
He's gonna come out as Long Boys wearing that old jacket. Gato's gonna be in his corner, and they're gonna dig up Fale just for shits and giggles.
Because I was like, even if he doesn't do the retro stuff,
and they're gonna have Rocky Romero on
Dome. Okada in the Tokyo Dome is gonna be like muscle memory.
And they have Rocky Romero on the microphone too, talking about his best friend.
Yeah, Nikki said he's gonna be Brokada. I'll take Brokada too. Yesterday I said, because I shared it to the Powerbombshells thing, is I was like, yesterday was Okada's birthday, but he gave us all a gift by coming out for this show and accepting this match. And then he posted a picture with Geto, and then apparently I saw it this morning on his story. He posted a picture of him and Naito. So Naito, I was very excited to see that picture of him and Naito. Yeah, it was. I'm super excited. Like, and I get, like, somebody pointed out that they technically already had their, like, Okada versus Okada versus Tanahashi the final time in 2024, which I get. And so they're like, you can work around that though. But I was like, people want, that's one of, besides Nakamura, like Tana's biggest feud was Okada. That's his, like, it makes sense that he retires against Okada. And then I believe they announced, if it translated properly, Tana versus Okada is the third match on the card. That's the way it looked. And then they're doing some, I don't understand because I've not been keeping up with New Japan as much, and this is definitely something I want to see Steven and Jeremy talk about on Thursday, and I'm sure they're going to, because they've announced a 4-way match, I think, to be the number 1 contender for the IWGP title, but Despy also is already, he's a double champion and he's in this 4-way match. I don't know. It seems kind of confusing. Again, I've not had time to keep up with it as closely as possible, but I know there was some chatter about that. But I definitely want to check in with them. So if you are a New Japan fan and you don't already, tune in on Thursday to Speaking of Strong Style, because I'm sure Jerry and Steven are going to have a lot to say about these 2 matches happening, and especially about Okada being Tana's final opponent, which to me makes sense. But yeah, so
it makes sense to me when I heard it.
Yeah, so. Yeah, and I was like, I mean, seeing that picture and then like looking and just watching the video and seeing their interaction, I got super hyped for it.
Yeah.
So I'm really ready for this match. I really can't wait for Takeshita versus Tsuji. I think that's going to be a really great match. There's the women's match. It's Shuri versus, I just blanked on her name. I have not seen her wrestle before, but I'm hearing a ton about her, and just having her on the card moved like a bunch of tickets, apparently. Imagine that. A woman moving a bunch of tickets.
Nah, and what? That's not a thing.
Yeah. No.
Them bras can't wrestle.
Let me see there's a couple comments I want to look at before we move on to the next thing. Benny said this is going to be Hogan and Rock in Japan. I mean,
why not?
Yeah. I make Beats said, what does he mean? He'll wrestle his old style. He'll just flip everyone off while doing it. Yeah, because that's what I thought too. And I was like, it pretty much is the same style. And Big Match Okada shows up in AEW. So that's why I was just like, okay, Okada.
He'll do something. He'll do something. Come on. It's Tana's retirement.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So Crash said that Tana basically said in response to it being Nakamura, did someone say something? And then apparently that was it. But the way the internet was talking about it yesterday, you would think that
he had promised them or something.
That he'd been talking about Nakamura like every time he opened his mouth, is what they made it seem like.
Wrestling peoples.
Yes. Will Okada have a role to play and Tsuji versus Takeshita, because they're both going to be in the Tokyo Dome? I personally hope not. Like, I would like to just see Tsuji and Takeshita do it themselves with no interference, especially because I think this is a really big match for Tsuji. Not that it's not for, clearly for Takeshita, it's huge. It's Tokyo Dome, it's Wrestle Kingdom. It's something he's always wanted to do since he was a little boy. But also, on the other hand, Tsuji is somebody that they are priming to be like a big deal. Like they've already been doing that, but to be at, like, they're pushing him even more. And I feel like to trust him in a match against Takeshita says a lot about A, what they think he can do in the ring, and B, what they think he can do for their company. And so I think this is a really, really huge match for Tsuji, just as much as it is for Takeshita. And I would hope for Okada to not be involved. Would I be surprised if it happened? No. I just would hope that it wouldn't. I would like them.
I hope it doesn't, and I think it shouldn't, because I think that this is such an important spot for Tsuji's, presence as the Japanese, one of the future guys. Like, he's one of the ones, Shota's one of the ones, like, they need to kind of give them the reins here.
Yeah,
maybe who will.
Yes, thank you, Michael. Saya Kamatani is the woman
Thank
who
you.
will be wrestling. Yeah, and again, I have not seen her wrestle, but I've heard a ton about her. I hear her name a lot. Apparently, when the match was announced, people were super excited about that. Yeah, Tsuji does get cooler by the week. I've been sold on him.
I like him.
I've been sold on him for like basically since he returned, and like he came back. Like I liked him before, but like when he returned, like I just have been on board with him.
Like if they're gonna give him his wings and let him fly, like I'm in. I'm interested.
Yeah. And I
don't necessarily know if that's what's gonna happen. I was convinced at first maybe that was what was gonna happen, but I was actually talked down by a friend a little bit.
Yeah.
Because Takeshita is a huge star, and New Japan really needs that momentum right now.
They need Tsuji and Takeshita. And I wondered, I was telling Nikki this, reading the comments from, like watching Takeshita's post-match comments, and then listening to or reading the comments from the press conference, and him just talking about Wrestling in America and things like that. I wonder when his AEW contract is up, if he goes to New Japan full time. I don't know when his contract is up with AEW. And not that they're not doing a lot of things with him, and AEW would miss him greatly, in my opinion. And also because Takeshita is one of my favorites, he's still in contention with me for Wrestler of the Year. Besides him and Bandito are still neck and neck for me. And I love Takeshita, but I feel like he wants to be in New Japan because it's been his dream forever, and they turned it away from the dojo, and he has a lot to prove to the Japanese fans who don't accept him. And I think he wants that acceptance, which I get, and I know he's trying to do something really cool because he's doing something nobody else is doing. Nobody else has 3 contracts like Takeshita does. And he's doing something incredible, but I wonder if it came down to it, if he had to choose between AEW and New Japan, if he would pick New Japan. Because I kind of feel like
I get the feeling he would. I mean, that's
I do too. And I don't think, and that's not to say that he doesn't give 110% in AEW, because I
hear what you're saying.
I think that he does. I think AEW is important to him, and when he's there, like he gives everything when he's there, like he does no matter where he is. But I just kind of wonder. I started wondering. I was like, I really wonder if when his deal is up, if he's just going to decide New Japan is it, like that. Where he wants to be only, like, is he going to give up DDT as well? But DDT has been super supportive of him as well. And so he's very lucky that he's a generational talent, a literal generational talent, that 3 companies would pay him or want him on their roster. But then Michael brings up the all-important point of New Japan could afford him, because that's why Okada, no matter what some New Japan fans still try to say, Tony did not steal Okada or Ospreay or Aussie Open for that matter. They could not afford them. And that is why they made the decision to come here. It is not, they didn't get poached. New Japan just couldn't afford them. And this is, for some of them, like for Okada, like this is his last chance of getting a big money deal.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and for him, I think that he wanted to do
at his age. That's that's where he's gonna get it for him to get a big contract.
And he wanted to do something else, which good on him.
Yes, he carried that company on his back,
literally to the point where it
years
effed up his neck.
right. So. And then there was a couple other. Crash says. He's not sold on Tsuji. They'll likely book him to win the Tokyo Dome, but I can't see Tsuji rallying bigger attendance right now. Maybe it's the book. Maybe it's just the booking gets mad. I mean, I've heard some people who are not sold on him, and I get it. I don't know what it would take for some people to, I guess, believe in him more. It definitely, I guess, obviously the booking does play a big role in that.
Well, and remember, it's for the Japanese fans at the end of the day that they have to focus on, because that's who's filling up the arena, not us.
Right, exactly. That's the thing that you and I talk about all the time. They have to book for the Japanese fans they're selling tickets to, not for the Western fans, not just for the Western fans.
Not for our smaller percentage of online subscriptions.
Well, and I know that there are a lot, I know that there are a lot of Western subscribers, but we're not the ones. Most of the time,
the bread and butter.
We're not flying to Japan to buy tickets to these shows like these other people are. So yes, I get that. Let's see. Anthony says that Shota Phils needs to start thinking of going back to Moxley because he has still a weakness in his promo. I think that he'll get there. I still believe in Shota Umino. Do you think it would be smart for him to join the Death Riders to help with the promos? I don't know. I think Shota's too much of a baby face like to be in Death Riders, because even when he was supposed to be like more serious, like Moxley had to stop him from hitting fans' hands and stuff like that. And like when he was in Japan, Moxley had to go get him and was like, "We don't do that." Like, stop it. So I feel like Shota's a little bit too much of I think he's just naturally a baby face, and
I think Shota, it's more important than ever. I think they need to take the training wheels off and really push Shota. I think they need to instead of like these half measures, I think they need to let him really here you go, kid. Are you going to make it or not? I mean, I think we're there with him. And I mean, in some ways you can almost argue that they're holding him back a little bit. They need to let him go do whatever it is they're going to let him go do and see if he can do it.
I think so too. So Crash says that NJPW has been having a difficulty, whatever reason, for rebuilding their roster. It's been stagnant on hirings or bringing back talent from Excursion or Indies. No excuse, really. You know what they could do? They could book Bad Dude Tito and bring him back to Japan, because the New Japan fans loved him. Mel and I are huge fans of his. We talked about him since he was in Strong. Bronson Reed put him the former Jonah put him in TMDK before Zach was even in TMDK. Like, people forget that. Bad Dude Tito was put in it first.
Right.
Then they added Zach. And
Zach co-opted it more than anything.
Yes.
He kind of took it over by force.
I love TMDK
in the most Zach way possible. I mean.
Yeah, exactly. So I would just maybe bring over some Bad Dude Tito. I would have liked to see him in the G1. I thought that would have been a great spot for him. They haven't booked him in a while. I do. I miss Bad Dude Tito as well. I love TMDK. And I was thinking about this. I was like, and again, I know I've not been paying attention to New Japan super closely since G1 ended, but where are they putting Zach on this card for Wrestle Kingdom? Like, you can't not have Zach on Wrestle Kingdom, but like, where do you put him? Who does he feud with? Where do we do it? And then World Tag League is getting ready to start. Starts the day after my birthday, and I do know Monster Sauce is in it, which I'm excited about, because even though I don't keep up with World Tag League as closely, I love the teaming of Alex Zane and Lance Archer. I think they're a fantastic team, and for whatever reason, Lance Archer is a completely different wrestler in Japan. He's he's so much fun in Japan. He's a guy, not that AEW doesn't use him in the way that works for them, but like, Lance Archer could probably, I mean, I know it's the travel between countries and all that stuff, and I get it, but I would see, and probably the money too, but like, Lance Archer is such a good fit for New Japan for the things that he was doing over there. Maybe not current New Japan because they're kind of with some of their stuff now, but like a few years ago, like Lance Archer, like I couldn't believe that when I first started getting into New Japan and I saw him, I'm like, that's Lance Hoyt. That's the same dude.
I know. He was amazing back when I first discovered him in like Best of Super Juniors and whatever. I was like, what? Who's this guy?
Yeah, when he was doing cup stuff. Yeah, and
oh man,
Ninja Mac, CMLL would be up for it too. AEW already had him from time to time. I'd like to see more of that. Yeah, Ninja Mac. I saw is
pretty cool.
I know Haramu's been doing a lot of stuff in Noah, and they're having a tournament, I guess. And I saw that Haramu was getting ready to face. Like, I don't know if the match already happened or it's upcoming. Haramu was wrestling Ninja Mac, and
I need to go check that out.
Yeah, I was like,
I like Ninja Mac a lot.
Me too. I do too.
The stuff of his on Noah that I've seen, he's one of the ones that stuck out to me. There's a handful of people, and then I know there's a monster heel over there that my friend loves that I need to check out. I've had no extra
time. I get it.
Life has been extremely lifey this year.
Yeah. Do we think that there's a young Ryan in the New Japan dojo that would benefit from joining the Death Riders? I'm not super up to date with the dojo to the point where I would say I would see them. There is what is the guy's name there's one guy that I do like that I've seen a little bit, and I blanked on his name. I don't think he would benefit from the Death Riders, but
I think they're winding the Death Riders down a lot. That seems to be they're losing and they're having a lot of they're sort of their like fall from grace is happening.
It is a little bit. I mean, we did see like the only way that Roddy could beat John Moxley last night though was because Darby Allin helped him. So I mean, and they did get a few of their wins back. So it's kind of hard to say, but then, yeah, Crash says there's lots of young talent. Tetsuya Matsumoto, Zane J, but I don't think they should be doing stuff with AEW. Yeah, I've seen a little bit of Zane. What he did, like the early matches on some of the more recent US shows. He's been on like the opening stuff, and he seems to be making a really good impression.
I feel like the New Japan guys need to stay and build in New Japan right now because they're building sort of a new thing entirely. So. Mm-hmm. To define whatever their promotion is this time feels like the most important thing that they should be focused on, not sending guys. I just don't think that they necessarily stand to benefit from going to North
I think
America.
they stand to benefit more going to La Dojo.
Yeah.
Which is where, and Liger was apparently there teaching a class last weekend, or this class.
Nice.
Been there again. Yeah, apparently Clark Connors is rumored to be on his way out. I would much rather see Clark Connors and Death Riders than Gabe Kidd.
Yeah. I'm happy to see Clark Connors anywhere on my television screen, really.
Yeah, because Mel and I were already big fans of Clark Connor, and then he stepped up and had that huge 4-way match, and we were like, Mel and I were super excited. We're like, you guys are going to love him. And then we were right. Because he showed all the way out. He got opportunity and ran with it. And that's when that was back when he was doing the Wild Rhino stuff. That was before his 100% absolute stuff that he was doing. But
yeah, he's great though. He's a great talent.
I really like Clark Connors.
He really took his shot at that first Forbidden Door, man. He went for it.
He sure did. So yeah, there's apparently there's rumors that he might be winding down. Tekla is his girlfriend. They live together. He may want to be stateside more often.
Interesting.
I think AEW would find somewhere for Clark Connors.
I think he fits right in.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, that's an obvious. If like Jay White were out for a longer period of time, then you could just plug him right into that situation and have him run that. But I see Clark Connors, and they're still. And like we talked about a couple weeks ago, Ace Austin is still Bullet Club. Like that's right.
He and Chris Bay are still Bullet Club.
Right.
He never left. And Ace was they were talking about it last not last night, but the week before, and he's wearing the black and gold because Bang Bang Gang is Bullet Club black and gold. So that's what, that they do still have that tie if they wanted to use it. But they've got that there. Oh God. Yeah. Drilla is who you're talking about. What happened to Carl Fredericks? He is doing indie shows and still DJing. He actually just wrestled, like last weekend I saw him. He was on a card, I think for West Coast Pro, and I can't remember who he was facing. It was somebody he used to wrestle in New Japan, I want to say. But I saw the match like last minute, but he's doing a little bit of indie stuff from what I understand. And then I know that he's also DJing.
If only he had not taken that as a snub.
I mean, I get it though. I mean, I don't blame him. He's not wrong.
And he went and got paid and he did his thing, but now he's doing his thing. So
yeah,
bummer.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I don't know the story. It's not my.
Yeah, I mean, well, Carl did answer us. We did say we were talking about it on Twitter, and I was saying that I wondered if that he found out in real time like us, or if it was in character. And he was like, "No, I found it out in real time, just like you did." And so we talked to him a little bit back and forth. He ended up following Powerbombshells.
Yeah,
from that conversation. And then we kept up with him a little bit in NXT when they did do anything with him, and then. Yeah, so we still I still see him sometimes, and we follow him on the Powerbombshells Instagram. And sometimes I see when I'm over, his stuff will pop up, but he just DJ'd like 2 nights ago, I think, or he was doing something.
I thought he was still DJing.
He's still DJing, but he is still wrestling. Like he's still active. So, which is nice to see. I would like to see him maybe put him in ROH or something.
Yeah, he was
just
great.
To see what he's up to now, just to see how much he's, now that he's away from WWE and that system, because that's clearly going to change how you wrestle.
He was super talented. So,
yeah, he was. I thought he was super talented. So I would like to see him if they can find a way for him. But going back to, we mentioned a little bit when we were talking about DPW, we were talking about Queen Aminata. So unfortunately, Queen Aminata is injured, and from the way Tony Khan said it, because he went live and was talking about her being replaced by Mina Shirakawa, the way he worded it sounded like she was injured going into the tag match with her and Jamie, and that's why her and Jamie lost, is because she wasn't cleared, or she was not that she wasn't cleared, but she wasn't in the best of shape. They'd kind of put her out there to see what she could do. Turns out it wasn't as much as they thought. So then they pulled her from Blood and Guts, and they pulled her, and then she's obviously not in the tournament because they lost anyway. And so now Mina Shirakawa has replaced Queen Aminata in Blood and Guts. And then Queen Aminata, we don't know what injury she's dealing with, the extent of it, how long she's supposed to be out, or anything like that. We just know she's not cleared enough to compete at Blood and Guts, and she did not compete. She did not defend her newly won DPW title on Friday because she wasn't cleared for that. So it's unfortunate and this is the second time that Queen Aminata has been injured this year. She was injured earlier this year when they were doing her story with Serena Deeb. They were supposed to have the very first pure women's match.
Right, and she got hurt.
She got injured. Then the first women's pure match ended up happening in ROH. The tournament got delayed, and it's been just one thing after another. And then she finally got back into it. She's been a huge part of the mixed matches they were doing. She was a huge part of doing the Blood and Guts storyline. And then it just terrible timing for her that this happened. And I hate that. And I think Mina is a good replacement. Mina works because of the stories they've been telling. She's involved with Toni Storm. She just Mercedes beat her for her interim ROH Women's Championship. So I think Mina makes sense to be in this match. I just really hate that it's not Queen Aminata,
this suck.
Which just means this can't be the only Blood and Guts match for women. You have to have more. But yeah, it's really unfortunate that Queen Aminata is injured. And then we saw they did the fun. I really enjoyed that they did the advantage matches and then they had the if necessary. Like we knew they were going to be necessary, but I like having the caveat if necessary that it happened. And then and last night we had 3 whole women's matches.
I know, right?
Collision. Even though one was short, and we'll get into that stuff too, besides the drama of what happened backstage, which we will also get into. but yeah, so I thought the advantage matches were fun. I'm not surprised that the heel team is going into Blood and Guts with the advantage, especially because the baby faces are the one who made the pitch. So of course the heels are going to get the advantage going into it. I kind of figured that's where it's going. I thought the matches were fun. I enjoyed them. And then on the men's side of things, the team not Death Riders obviously is going in with the advantage, which also seemed obvious, but still fun. It makes sense for what they're doing. And not only is Blood and Guts, we're getting 2 Blood and Guts matches, I'm also getting a Hangman match on Wednesday,
I know.
which I'm super stoked about.
So
Thank
cool.
God it's not I was joking, but half serious about, I thought I was going to get stuck with an FTR match because they're from North Carolina. But guess what? Hangman lives here too. Hangman's lived in North Carolina for a while. And he lives in the area. I believe he lives in the Greensboro area, or he lives in Winston-Salem. I think he's in the Greensboro area, or he was. He may have moved out of that area, but regardless, he lives in North Carolina. So thankfully, I'm getting a Hangman match, which I'm super excited about. I really like Powerhouse Hobbs. Now it's a Falls Count Anywhere match, which I'm excited about. So I hope it's not going to cut into women's time, but they did make the show a half hour longer. So I'm assuming it's the cool down match between the cage matches, I guess.
Okay, so they did add a half an hour then?
Yeah, they did last week.
Nice.
Before they even announced Hangman. On Tuesday, they announced that the match would be, that the show was going to be a half an hour longer. Then Wednesday, they announced Hangman versus Hobbs at the end of the show, after the main event. So I'm very excited about that. I wish it was Shibata, but I really like Powerhouse Hobbs. I love him, so I'm not mad at it. And I'm so excited to see Hangman. And we've heard from them enough. We've heard from them enough. I don't need to hear from them anymore.
I will be thinking of you, and I will be putting it into the universe that you have little to no FTR interference with your blood.
Don't even let them show up on ROH for some reason, because I'm sure they're going to do some ROH tapings, which I'm hoping. I don't know if Workhorsemen are cleared yet. They weren't cleared because they taped back at in Daly's place. They filmed the match that aired last week. It was for the Trios champions. They wrestled STP. It was Workhorsemen and Beef versus STP for the Trios titles. Or I'm sorry, it's 6-man. It's 6-man in ROH. The match was fun. Of course, there was interference, and so I was like, now you have to run it back. So I'm hoping Workhorsemen have been cleared, because they didn't wrestle at DPW in the tag match because they weren't cleared. So I'm hoping they're cleared and get to be on ROH taping. Fingers crossed that they'll be that. But yeah, I'm really excited. I really, really hope the women main event Dynamite, but I'm not holding my breath because I know better. Yeah, and as always, I'm cautiously optimistic when it comes to things in the women's division.
At least you get to see the first one.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. I'm very excited about seeing I
got to see the first Blood and Guts ever, period. Yes. And you get to see the first ladies one, and now we'll both have seen one. So
yes, which is exciting.
We can compare Blood and Guts experiences.
We can.
Yeah, Blood and Guts, sickos.
Yes, no, we did not. We absolutely did not need a men's Blood and Guts, especially because Death Riders had a cage match already.
Guys, girls can't do it themselves. We can't do our stuff ourselves.
Me too. I'm super looking forward to that as well. Yeah, maybe said Falls Count Anywhere with 2 rings and it won't end in the ring is wild. Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be a little bit crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very excited for that. And I I also I forgot I had some PTO, so I took the day off on Wednesday and on Thursday.
Good for you.
I'm trying because we were trying to figure out like what time do we leave because we don't want to get stuck in traffic and we need to have time to eat and get to the venue so that we can watch because we'll be one of the 5 people in there to watch ROH matches. I don't know, maybe Nikki and I will be the only, and Matthew, our friend Matthew is going. It might be the 3 of us in there for New Japan match. I mean, for our ROH matches, maybe it'll just be us 3. and that's it. But like we want to obviously make sure that we're there for like the ROH stuff too. Very excited. Oh, also, so speaking of Blood and Guts, they announced last night Ricky the Dragon Steamboat will be in attendance. Yay! Okay. But so is Ric Flair.
Of course he is.
Because he's still under contract.
Of course.
I think I don't know. I can't remember. I think his contract, I don't remember if it ends in December. Because if I remember correctly, wasn't it a 2-year deal? And I know that his drink is paying like most of his deal or something like that. So I think his deal is almost up. There's no need for him to be there, but
I know, but unfortunately you live in Flair country.
I do live in Flair country. And speaking of, we had the WWE was in Flair country on Friday and Charlotte Flair wrestled and they were like, we're in Flair because they were wooing and stuff. And they're like, we're in Flair country. And I was like, yes, you are. You're in the Carolinas. So unfortunately being in Flair country like we are,
it's kind of, I mean,
because I thought it was so, because when he said Ricky and I was like, hell yeah, and I was like, God, please don't say Ric Flair too, and that's exactly what he said. He was like, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Ric Flair, and I was like, yay, get to be in the building with Sex Pest, cool.
It's rough when you're like big, like you're such a big territory that like you have to deal with that. Like, I mean, we get Rhino and things like that, you know.
I mean, we get cool stuff like, I mean, there's like tons of, other stuff.
I mean, you could get Midnight Express or something, right? Isn't that? Or wait, Rock and Roll Express.
Rock and Roll. I think it was.
Or maybe I'm wrong. Wrong Express. Hopefully you'll just get Jurassic Express and we can move on.
There we go. Speaking of Ricky Morton, I didn't see the match, but Ricky Morton faced Effie for the GCW World title on Friday.
Oh, there you go, Ricky Morton. You got George. Maybe George South will show up.
Shout out to Ricky Morton because he gets it. Like
he works.
That man works all the time. He loves newer wrestling. He doesn't shit on it. He doesn't go on podcasts trashing the current locker rooms. He doesn't say. He just imparts his wisdom and still goes out there and has.
Dude, that's like Truth Martini around here. I swear to God, that dude just is around here being everybody's mentor because he still loves wrestling, and that's it. Like he's just out here teaching like new kids and older people, and the machine guns come around to teach people with him, and he's just he's the nicest freaking dude. And then when because I got to meet him that weekend, he's just it's like I get it. He's just a stand-up bro. Like we've got some great. I mean. It's like, can't you guys roll out the nostalgia, like the member berries in it, like without the Sex Pests?
Right. Like, I get it. Like, I know what he means clearly. I know what he means for the wrestling industry in general, what he means to wrestling in North Carolina. And both things can be true. He made for a great he can be hugely significant to wrestling and also be a gigantic sex pest. And like both things can be true.
I know it's crazy. I mean, but we can actually say that he is a sex pest, but here we are.
Right? Yeah. Pod crash.
And I know it, and you guys are going to be hearing way more wooing than you want to because you probably hear it anyway.
We're going to hear it. We would hear it anyway, but luckily,
I know you probably hear it a lot. We hear it. So
the last time we went, like the woos were getting drowned out by the Who's House, Swerve's House, even though Swerve wasn't even a part. Like that, we were getting more of those than the woos. But now that he's going to be in the building.
Wouldn't it be funny if there were more boos than woos?
It would be great, but I don't trust the North Carolina wrestling fans to do
I don't either, but you never know because you guys, much like Michigan, we have lots of different colors in our state.
Yes.
We have all different kinds of peoples.
Yeah.
So it's always surprising to me, like what people do and don't. And in what context where the thing comes up, you're just like weird. That was a weird place. Wrestling. But yeah, I'm excited for you guys because it's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
it's
so
gonna be
definitely fun. Next Sunday you're gonna hear all about it.
Yeah,
I have. No, we do not need 167-year-old Ric Flair strutting around. Yeah, they're saying woo-uns.
I mean, the only thing he was really good for was
woo-urns instead of boo-urns.
Worms.
Yes, exactly. No, woo-urns, like on The Simpsons where they say it's when they're booing Mr. Burns. They're like, no, they're saying boo-urns, so they're saying woo-urns. Yes.
I like it.
Yes. Same.
I know. I'm sorry, you guys. It's I just gotta tell you though, it made for a great parody Christmas card that I made for John one Christmas.
Perfect.
So that's I was making fun of him, so it's
good, as you should.
Right. It totally was I mean, you would have appreciated it too.
Probably would have.
That would have been better.
Wu-Tang Clan out of North Carolina.
Oh Lord. Wow. The levels.
Yeah, but I'm hoping they show him I was like, so is he coming out for the men's blood and guts match? Is that what we're doing here? Because I don't see any other reason to are they going to sit out there ringside the entire time? Are they coming out for Hangman? Or are they coming out for Hangman and Powerhouse?
Maybe he'll come out with the Jaguars, or not the Jaguars, but the Panthers mascot or something.
Oh God, please don't do that to Thurper.
I know I didn't say it was a good idea, but
Thurper would have to drive all the way up to Greensboro.
That's so funny. I was like, I wonder if she knows, but I'm sure she does because she I think you worked for them for a minute. So.
I did work for them.
Of course you did.
I did. I worked in guest services on game days for 2 seasons.
That's great.
Actually, I'm not drinking out of my Panthers cup today, but my Panthers cup has it's the logo. It's not technically Thurper on it, but I am. And I also have the Panthers.
The Lions mascot's name is completely leaving me right now. I feel like such a jerk because even one of my friends dressed up as him on. It's killing me. Bob, help me out.
That's so cool. Yes, Bob, help us out in the chat.
It's such a good name too. It's like a really good anyway. But yes. Yeah. I mean, Tony is smart like that. He does do that sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like unlike some other certain promotions that don't get it. But
Michael, if this man is taking bumps at Blood and Guts, he might Randy the Ram in front of me.
I'm not saying anything because
I'm just leaving it at that.
Because if you don't have anything nice to say, you should say it.
That's why I was like, he might Randy the Ram the end. The man has heart problems. He had a literal heart attack in his
Rory. It's Rory.
Oh, Rory.
Oh,
cute. Oh, Roary. Cute.
Thank you.
Very cute. Very cute.
I was like, it's driving me crazy because it's such a cute name.
I hate when I do that, when everything just leaves my brain.
Yeah, it's just like, no, I can think of his insurance disclaimers.
There you go. So there was some drama last night at the Collision.
There was some drama. There was some apparently.
Drama. So I have to write the preview before I do live coverage. We write a preview that goes up an hour before the show. Tells you what matches there are going to be. Sometimes Tony takes forever when it's pre-taped. Obviously, I already have the matches, and so I can easily write it down. When there's live days, this man will sometimes announce matches right up until 8:00, or he will announce matches and then have unannounced matches happen during the show. And so last night, it's 7:05. Still just have the 3 matches that were made on Wednesday, which are the Blood and Gut Advantage match. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm just going to post this preview with the 3 matches we've got. Then Tony goes live at 7:30, sometime after 7:30. And he was like, FTR want to do an open challenge. They're going to face Bang Bang Gang. Kyle Fletcher literally comes in the room. I like the word open challenge. I would like an open challenge. And he's like, sure, face Ace Austin. And that was it. And then we get a graphic that says Ty J is in action, which makes sense because Ty J is in the tag team tournament. And I kind of thought, I was like, oh, I wonder if it'll be Miranda and Newell, Miranda Alizé, because they did the on-screen thing with them at Daly's place. seemed like it was going to lead to something. And then I forgot about it because my power went out and I was 10 minutes behind and all that stuff. And hold on just one second. Miley wants out and I need to let her out. So give me just 1 second. Hold that thought.
No worries. And for those of you who obviously know what happened, there was some drama with the ladies. So we're going to talk while Sam is letting Miley out because we all know the struggle of letting dogs out. And Nikki, I got to tell you, I did catch that Jesse Spano reference earlier on and you did pop me. So I got you, girl. That's funny. I'm glad you guys had a whole Saved by the Bell tangent in your.
I know we could not participate in that conversation.
No, we couldn't. But I just wanted to let your sister know that she got me. She was trying to pop you, but she popped me instead. And
hey, at least
I just wanted to give her a shout out while you were letting the dog do this thing and let her know that it was. Again, we could not be involved, but it was definitely it landed.
I could only see parts of it because it was moving so fast and I was trying to focus on what I was saying. So
no, it's all right. It was you don't get a good Jesse Spano reference every day, but when you do.
Oh, Nikki and I referenced the Jesse. We referenced
I know. That's why
often.
I think it's beautiful. I love you kids.
I was looking to see if I had an update about something, but I don't. About the story that we're talking about. So
about the drama.
So then the match happens and they face Maya World and Hyan. Maya, I've seen several times. I've talked about her on this show about how good she is. She's been in ROH. She's Athena's protege. Seen her in Ashe a few times. Hyan, Hyan I've seen before as well in DPW. She's been in ROH and things like that as well. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we're getting this match. And as I do, I didn't time it till after the show, but as I do, I time the matches, and that match lasted a minute and 50 seconds. So
yeah, I'm glad
when the match happened itself, I joked and I was like, wow, this is like Ty J in their dark days, because Ty J was getting 3-minute matches back.
You know what's so funny is I saw the order I saw this story in was you're timing the match, the walkout, and then the follow-up revision of the reasoning.
Right.
So I saw your timing of the match first and then found out the revised story and went, that's really interesting considering that Sam did actually, and that thing did come in under 2 minutes.
Yep. And originally, so the story goes.
That's the story goes.
That Miranda Alizé and Nixon Newell, the original story was they didn't want to lose they didn't want a job 2 weeks in a row. Keep in mind, they are not employed by AEW. Nope. They don't have a contract in any way, shape, or form. They're just being brought in to see what they can do, if they're a fit. Their match last week against Marina and Megan Bain, also short, not that short, but still short, was not that great. Not that great. Perhaps it was because they didn't have enough time. Perhaps it's because it was Megan and Marina. Or maybe it's just they're not a fit, because Nixon spent a lot of time in WWE and wrestles the WWE way. So perhaps maybe there's multiple factors that fit into it. Their debut match was not it was not that great. It wasn't awful. Nothing to write home about. Nothing that would make me say give them a graphic right now. And so a little surprised that they brought them back, but I was like, well, I guess it makes sense because of the Ty J storyline. Turns out that so apparently the original story was they didn't want a job, and Miranda was the one who really supposedly had an issue with it and was like I don't want to say making a scene and again, we only know
what we've had reported to us.
We don't know Miranda and Nixon's side of the story. But the information that's out there, this is what we're going based off of. So the original story was they didn't want a job again. Then it was revised. Fightful confirmed, and they walked out. They literally walked out, left the building.
Right.
So Tony's scrambling to find opponents for Taiji. Hyan and Maya were there. I think I don't know if they were already there for ROH, but they were in the building. So Tony was like, get him in the ring. And so that's the match we got. We got 1 minute and 50 seconds, and that was it. Maya was in most of the match. She took the pin. And I will say, Maya is, and Hyan too, but Maya is a very good wrestler and is probably further along than even her opponents were. Just say that. But so anyway, so then it comes out apparently a little bit later. The story is revised with some more details from Fightful side of thing, that it wasn't necessarily that they didn't want to job, but more of they wanted more than 3 minutes, because 3 minutes is what was allotted. The match that was on TV was 1 minute and 50 seconds. Even less than the 3 minutes of allotment. That I get. I understand women should not be having 3 minute matches. Nobody should. But I also know how Tony is. And I'm not surprised he had. And then, so the first tournament match got exactly like just over 10 minutes. The second women's match that happened right at the, not tournament, but the advantage match. That match got, I think it was like 12 minutes. So altogether, we got like 25 minutes of women's wrestling last night. But I think the biggest issue is, and you can argue about the 3 minutes, which you know how I feel about.
Well, right. I mean, it's obviously none of us like that you're doing 3 minute matches. That.
However, you are not employed by this company, and to make demands on a live TV show at that, like this is a show that's going live, and yes, I know there's overruns, and I'm negating all of that, those factors. You are not employed by this company. You are essentially auditioning for a job. For a job.
This is a job interview.
Basically. And you are arguing with them and telling them you want more time. And then there's been another update, but I have not received said update, because apparently it's as Sean Ross Sapp said, as we were right after we got on air, I received a tweet. Somebody sent me a tweet that said this was a very layered story. They had more details. I have not received said
the update.
I haven't seen the update yet. That's what I was just checking to see if I had that update yet. I do not. So some of this information may be outdated by the time we're done talking about it, just because I haven't seen that yet. But to go into a place that you are not employed and make demands of anything, whether it's losing time, whatever, is not going to get you hired. And then the fact that you walked out, you are never going to get a phone call back from them.
Well, this is the problem, right? Because you have not just burned your bridges with Tony Khan. You have sent a message to every promoter out there in the wild that you're an unreliable worker.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I get it. We've talked about the 3 minute and the 2 minute matches over and over again over the time that we've been together. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. But there are other women on that roster who deserve more than 3 or 5 minutes, who are going out there.
I would rather you bring Nyla Rose and put Nyla Rose on my TV than bring in Nixon Newell.
Well, how about this? Like, Maya World and Cyan just walked out there and did the match and shut up and just went out and did their work because that was their job.
Yeah, and people are praising them for doing what was asked of them. And not only that, I don't know if this was already planned for ROH or if this was a thank you for doing this, but after the show when they filmed ROH, Maya and Hyan wrestled Billy and Athena on ROH. So I don't know if that was already planned or if it was a thank you for stepping up for us last minute. Here is a match on.
Well, they legitimately showed the difference between the two teams. You've got one team that did their work and showed up and did it and under the time and whatever, and they didn't say a word. And then you've got another couple people who are literally on this is your job interview,
right?
And I'm sorry, but you don't come into work on the first day and start telling the boss what to do.
Right.
You don't put yourself above the women that have.
It's live TV on top of that, and
and that's the thing. Benny said it, and that's right. Is that that's like there was someone who took, I think it was Keith Lee, maybe took a little bit of heat because that was one thing that he didn't have his boots when he was in the locker room.
Yeah,
and that's kind of an unspoken rule is like if you're there, you never know. And again, because of the nature of this business and the fact that you never know, you want to take those opportunities anytime you can. If I'm getting 3 minutes in the ring, it's 3 minutes in the ring.
Right. And that was kind of their thing was like, and I saw Joey Janela was talking about it. And it was, you take what you're given.
Correct.
And you do a good job. And if you do a good job, then hopefully there will be more opportunities for you and you get brought back. And so, and he said that he can't tell you that how many times that he sees this even on the indies. And he was like, and word spreads like wildfire when people behave like this.
Well, yeah.
And he was like, and now this is imploded for a major company on top of that. And from what I understand, like AEW official, like people in AEW were shocked that they literally just walked out.
Well, it's so unprofessional. I mean, it's unprofessional no matter what.
And again, we don't have Nixon and Miranda's side of the story. And again, of course, we could argue all day long about the 3 minutes, and this match literally got 1 minute and 50 seconds. we get that, but from the information we know right now, they look extremely unprofessional, and they have burned bridges with AEW. Probably with other, I'm sure there's some indie that's gonna book them because they're like, but they're gonna try to make it into an angle.
There'll be a draw somewhere. I'm sure.
So like they haven't burned. Like I'm sure
some carny will turn it into an even bigger drama and sell some tickets off of it. I'm sure that's the way the business works.
Right.
But as far as them being taken seriously by a television company.
Well, and you already have Nixon Newell, who is injury prone. Like that's been her biggest Achilles heel is that she's not been able to stay healthy. She has been injured multiple times. And
we've been giving out to the Hurt Syndicate for not doing job. And they're stars.
Right. And so, and then there's also like, it doesn't help that Miranda has shared conspiracy theories on the internet that she believes Tylenol causes autism. She's also posted transphobic things, and they employ a trans wrestler. So there's been those things leading up to her even showing up in AEW. Then she kind of apparently stopped posting those things and once they got the AEW opportunity. But apparently in the new report, again, I haven't seen the full report, but I did see something in the tweet saying that apparently they were upset about losing last week in their debut as well. And so then they got brought back and they were mad that they were going to lose again. But both teams they face are currently in an ongoing tournament for the tag team titles. They're not going to lose. And also they're contracted wrestlers. So even if there weren't a tournament, the unsigned wrestlers are not going to beat the contracted. Right. They're not going to beat the contracted wrestlers. That rarely happens.
That's an opportunity for you. And you just blew it.
Maybe you can say the thing with Action Andretti where he beat Chris Jericho, but who advocated for that? Chris Jericho went to Tony Khan and said, I want Action Andretti to beat me. Like, I want this to be part of his gimmick.
Action Andretti had other matches that were good at this point.
He had. Also that.
I mean,
right.
These kids have had one match in AEW and it was not very good.
Right. And again, it was limited time, so I'm sure that was a factor. It was
but everyone gets limited time all the time.
So, I'm sure maybe, and then, maybe between...
How many times have they thrown Willow out there to do a promo and thrown her back in the back and she didn't even do ring work because just they wanted the pop because she's Willow.
Yeah. Right. And so, I mean, maybe more information is going to come out between now and our next show, and maybe we'll have Miranda and Nixon's side of things, and maybe
they said that they had things to say about it.
Yeah, Miranda said we have so many things to say, and then she retweeted people who agreed with her. And then
which is easy.
And then Nixon Newell tweeted earlier today, "There's two sides to every story. Remember that," which is of course correct.
Of course, correct.
But based on the information we currently have, they appear to be in the wrong because
walking out of your job in that situation.
Basically a job interview.
Yeah.
They walked out.
And I bet there's a ton of freaking women's tag teams or any tag teams out there that would have taken their place in a hot second if they'd been in the area.
Right. And like, just for
also,
me,
you're getting paid. What do you care?
That too. And for me personally, I have never, when Nixon was in WWE as Tegan Knox, I wasn't really big on her one way or another. She
was okay.
She's
because I remember her. She was okay.
She was fine. I don't know what she's been doing really since then. No, I thought maybe we'll see. Maybe she's improved. Maybe being away from the WWE system. What is she like? Apparently she's had some solid matches, outside of the company. I was never like,
what is she like? She just walked off her job.
Right. And that tells me more. That tells me more about the outside than the inside. And we've already had problematic people in the WWE. I mean, in the AEW, well, WWE too, but in the AEW women's division, we've had problematic people. They're still employed
in both locker rooms backstage with these issues with established talent, not kids that are trying to get their feet under them again. Or, I mean, again, they weren't that big of stars in WWE either.
Well, Nixon wasn't. Miranda has never been signed anywhere. And you have to wonder, has she not been signed because has she had behavioral issues elsewhere? Is she problematic in the locker room?
If she's going to have a stream tonight, it sounds to me like they did all this to get a bunch of attention.
Well, if Nixon's doing a stream to talk about what happened. But
I hope that, again, there are others. We are only going off of the information we have at the time.
Right.
It doesn't look great, but we could find out that there was some other thing.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Between now and next Sunday, maybe we will have a completely different.
And if they have a reasonable and rational reason for walking, there's been plenty of times where I've had to walk away from things too.
Right.
For safety,
and some people I have also heard in the original, some of it was saying that it was Miranda was the one who was being very vocal, and that Miranda is the one who wanted to walk out, and so Nixon felt she had to follow her because they were together. But Nixon is an adult, and she was employed by a major company. She can also say for herself, this is not how you act in the, this isn't professional. But it could also be just, maybe she agreed with how they, with whatever the issue was. And she was like, you know what, I'm walking out. Was she walking out because her girlfriend walked out? And so she was trying to be supportive of her girlfriend. That's also possible, but they're both adults. They both make their own decisions. If she didn't agree with her, Nixon could have stayed and, Miranda left. And then they would have just had, maybe they would have had Nixon wrestle team with somebody else. We don't know the entire story, but just based off the information we know so far, it does not look good for them. It looks like they burned every bridge they can in AEW and ROH, and probably for some other companies who may have considered bringing them in, that they have burned those bridges.
Well, it's going to cost them money, but on a fundamental level, AEW can eat something like this once in a while happening. An indie cannot build a show up and then have their talent walk away from them. So if I'm an indie promoter, not a chance.
Yeah. I
don't care what they're going to draw, because what if they decide that they don't like my women's champion?
Yeah.
That ruins my whole job.
Or maybe they like the booking in the beginning when you're, making story, you're doing an angle based off of this story. And then once it gets further into it and they start, are they going to start arguing about losing matches and things like that? So again, we only know what we know so far. We could have a completely different opinion once the other.
I've read a lot of newsletters.
As of right now, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for them. It looks like we will never see them in AEW or ROH again. Because once Tony doesn't like you, he's done with you. We've seen that. He will.
It doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help the perception of women's wrestling either.
Yeah, he will. Tony Khan will pull you off TV if he doesn't if he doesn't like you, or if you have done something to him, or. And then last night was, you put him in a really big bind because they had already announced that match. I mean, it was in action, so it was the Ty J portion, but that match had been announced and they had to have opponents ready for them. And luckily, Maya and Hyan were right there to step in, and people are rightfully praising them for coming in, knowing they're going to take the pin. I mean, I joked earlier, I was like, maybe Nixon and Miranda suffer from the same affliction as Malachi Black and can't have their shoulders on the mat for 3 minutes. Maybe they have a condition. I don't know.
Listen, you're not even as cool as Chico El Luchador, okay? So
who is as cool as Chico El Luchador?
Not too many people.
Not very many. But again, so I'm sure the story is still developing, and I'm sure we'll have more. And like I said, maybe next Sunday we will have, maybe we will agree with them and say that they did the right thing by walking out. But as of right this second, not looking so good for those women. And again, if you're going to put women on my TV, I would like to see Nyla Rose on my TV.
It messes with the perception of women's wrestling too. Because that feeds into stereotypes about ladies being unpredictable and stuff. And we don't need any more of that.
Right.
Really.
So the other big news I thought we were going to talk about this week, besides that, was because the women have, new titles, the men felt left out. And now they're getting another title that is very similar to the one that was combined with the United, or the title that Okada carries.
Shout out to all of you that were on the live thread, and we were enjoying making fun of the name of the title of the belt.
It's the national belt, which apparently pissed off the national champion in NWA, who also was named during Speaking Out. So you can look up Brian Idol Speaking Out. He is the national champion at NWA. He took it very personally that the titles are named the same thing, because apparently I only saw a bit of it. The national title was combined, like it was unified with another title that's currently on WWE programming. So it's not like that title
These titles have existed since time immemorial.
Right.
It's like, I want to go back to the freaking early turn of the 20th century and list off some of the belts between the 30s and 60s to people that were like the international, universal, world mega freaking WWF championship belts that were specifically meant to be like brought only to Japan and only defended in certain prefectures. And get out of here with, it's not about the
so
name
apparently
of the belt.
He was having a big ass tantrum on Twitter
and
was getting called out left and right. Joey Janela, because he went after Joey Janela, and Joey Janela said, I haven't worked in AEW for 4 years. And he's like, and I didn't come. He was like, Billy Corgan has tried to hire me multiple times. And I said, no, because I don't like it. I think the NWA's product isn't good. And so I didn't want to be associated with it. So, and like he was going after like several different wrestlers who've not been on TV in like 3 or 4 years, because Joey wasn't the only one. He named off a couple other people, and they were like, what are you talking about? Like, these people haven't been on TV in years. Like, clearly
somebody
you don't know.
needed attention.
Yeah. Oh, he got the attention he wanted.
Or didn't.
Yeah. And then it got written here. Oh, he went after Akira.
Oh, good.
And blamed him for his former abusive partner losing jobs. Wow. This guy's showing his whole ass. And again, he was named during Speaking Out, so he should just keep his mouth shut. Or maybe not. Remind people that you were named and Speaking Out in NWA not only employs you, but has you as a champion. There's also that. But yeah, so this guy was showing his whole ass on Twitter for, it's always a main character of the week. This week it was this dude. Anyway, this national title is going to be defended so it's going to be like the international title where it's defended in other promotions. The international title, if I remember correctly, was originally something that Warner Brothers wanted, they wanted this title so it could be defended in other places. And, when Pac had that title, he took it to the UK and defended it over there. His matches were then shown on Dark. And then obviously Orange Cassidy is probably the most closely, related to that title. I think most people associate him with it. And then Kenny had it, and then they merged it when Okada won. And so now the national title is basically the international title. It's the same thing. They just took Enter off of it. So I guess the men were feeling left out because the women were getting attention with tag titles, and we can't have that. Because every time the women do something, the men got to have it too. And so we're getting a Casino Gauntlet match at Full Gear to crown the inaugural champion. So far, we have had Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and Ricochet, who basically threw their names in they signed up for. I don't know. I guess there was a sign-up sheet in the back. The three of them signed up, had a little segment on Dynamite. And then last night on Collision, Jet Speed decided they were going to get involved too. And they're entering separately. They said if it comes down to the two of them, may the best man win. As long as one of them wins it, it's fine. Which is kind of what they said with Bobby Lashley and Shelton. Like, and MVP was like, the Hurt Business gets the title. Like, regardless of which one of them gets it, like, it comes with us, and so we're fine. And they're kind of the same mindset. As long as it's in the Hurt Business, we get it, and that's kind of how Jet Speed is. As long as Jet Speed has one of us has it, that's all we care about. So, that's who's in it so far. I'm sure. I don't know if they've said like how many people were supposed to be entering this tournament. I'm sure they're just going to keep stepping up until the match happens. We might end up with 20 people in this match by the time the match happens. And so I don't want to, I will probably save until we get to Full Gear for who I think is going to win, because at this point there's names still being added. And so I can't say. I mean,
we might get surprise entrants along the way we just don't expect, like someone coming back or.
Right. Yeah, that too. Like, is somebody coming?
Like, what if Jay White's better?
Mercedes said something. She was like, "Wait, there's another title."
That would be hilarious.
Mercedes. Maybe that's why she lost the. Oh wait, no, she's wrestling Chris. That's right.
That would be too much if they actually did that, and she came in there and just like at the end, and everybody was laid out, and she just grabbed climbed the ladder and grabbed the title.
I would be okay. And then if she gets to defend the title again.
Because I want to see the big mad meltdown on the socials.
Me too. That's supposed to be a men's title. Well, remember when James Ellsworth won the women's Money in the Bank ladder match that time? They had a man.
That would make it all worth it.
Remember when Santino dressed up as a woman and won a title?
No, come on now, Sam. You're telling me that crazy crap goes on in wrestling all the time?
Hopefully not.
You know what? I tend to like Jim put it better than a lot of people. I think he's probably not wrong. I agree with you. And you did say that, and it's funny because you were like, I told you that they were going to do that, and I was like, she did say that. But I do think that he's got a point about it's not the number of belts, it's how you use them.
Right.
And I do think that you could argue like they're not doing a good job with some of them. So why are we adding another one?
Yeah, and like I think because Okada doesn't defend his title very often.
No, that's literally
the international title was the workhorse. I mean, obviously the TNT championship was too, but like for a while, the international title was the workhorse title. Orange Cassidy was opening shows on a weekly basis.
Yes.
Doing that. Pac was taking that title to England and was defending it on the Indies. Like he was wrestling like LJ Cleary, who is now on WWE's radar, but he wrestled LJ Cleary and had like a banger match with him, and he had there were several other matches that he did. Ray Phoenix had it and got to defend it a couple times, and he got injured, and so then they and unfortunately he had to drop that singles title, and who knows what he could have done with it, because that's when he was really heading towards that singles run. And so
It's like, to me, it's like Okada doesn't need a title. He's Okada.
Yeah.
And I know that the network wanted Okada to have a title, and I get that.
Right. I think that Okada is going to drop that title after the C2. Like, I think he's holding it through the C2 and then is dropping it to whoever wins the C2, which could potentially be Kyle Fletcher. Perhaps that's why we're opening Kyle Fletcher up. Maybe that's why he's going to lose the TNT championship to Mark Briscoe, and then he's going to win the C2, and then maybe for Don Callis storyline reasons, he dethrones Okada, and they, maybe that's what they're doing with it. But then another interesting thing happened because I was watching ROH on Thursday, and I watched it late, but they did announce it during, like, it wasn't a thing during the show, it was announced on Twitter, that at Final Battle, the national title will be defended at Final Battle. So for the first time ever, an AEW title will be defended on an ROH pay-per-view.
Oh, that's going to make people so mad.
Which was funny because, so I quote tweeted and I said, oh, this is interesting. And so then I just literally, this is interesting, send tweet, whatever, timing a women's match. And I come across my phone, Tony Khan liked your tweet. It's like, did he mean to like that tweet? Was that on accident? My friend said he forgot he wasn't under his burner. So I'm timing this match, and I tell Nikki, I was like, oh my God, Tony Khan liked the national title tweet. And she was like, well, at least you didn't say anything mean, because I'd been tweeting about ROH. And I was like, I was getting ready to tweet something mean because the ROH Pure Women's title, that tournament started August 29th at Death Before Dishonor. They had the second tournament match nearly a month later.
Mm-hmm.
They just had match number 3 last Thursday. Then they say during the show, we will crown the winner at Final Battle. This match started in July, the end of July. No, or was it August 29th? Whatever date. It started at...
It's been a while.
It started at
starting in the summer. At the end.
Death Before Dishonor. And I joked when they announced the women's tag titles, I joked and said, who's going to get crowned first? The AEW women's tag team champions or the ROH Pure champion?
Well, now we know.
We have our answer. So yeah, so Tony liked that tweet. I was just like, all right, whatever. And so I was joking about it and was like, and that's when my friend was like, yeah, he forgot that he wasn't.
That's
he was
pretty
on
funny.
His main. Well, then, so I went to bed and it had like, I don't know, 2 or 3 likes on it. The next morning, it has 32 likes on it. Why? I literally said, this is an interesting development. Like, the most mundane thing I could possibly say.
That's Twitter for you.
I haven't checked recently, but it got up to over 100 likes. And I was like, do people just go to Tony Khan's likes and look at them? Well, no, you can't see likes anymore. So it's not that.
You're right. You really can't, can you?
Because I was like, did they go to his likes and just like what he likes? But Twitter hid that feature, so no, I guess not.
No, but it probably boosted the tweet when he
liked it. That's what I think. It must have boosted it into like
because he's a verified
check mark. And I was like, meanwhile, my statement from Janelle Grant's team had like 9 likes.
No likes. Or when you like time on women's match, you get all kinds of trolls.
Right, of course. And so, like, once a year, I get a bunch of trolls on that.
But you have the most mundane, boring ass tweet ever, and that's when you get like all the engagement. So that's the key. We need to start tweeting just boring ass shit.
Apparently so. I was just like, what is happening?
And now I need to I actually posted to my Blue Sky that it was the first snow of the year. I wonder if that has like 400 likes or something.
It probably does.
So.
But yeah. So That made me laugh. I was like, did Toni mean? And so Nikki was like, don't be mean. She was like, just leave it for. And so we were just joking. And so, but I was like, well, then good. I hope he read my other ROH tweets, which said to run back STP versus the Workhorsemen and Beef. First of all, it was a good match, and then secondly, there was interference. And then I tweeted right after that because Trish wrestled Deanna, got knocked out of the tournament as expected, and then I said that Trish Adora still needs an ROH title to complete the STP having all the titles, so I hope he saw that one. And then I think I tweeted
I want him to see all your tweets now.
I want you to see my ROH tweets. No, I'm sure he sees them. He probably
I want him to see your tweets on why aren't we getting a women's meet?
He's like, no, she's going to ask me on the call.
Maybe he's trying to butter you up by liking your interesting development tweet.
Why? Because you pissed me off by having a men's match.
He knows.
Blood and guts. Oh no, I know.
He knows what he did.
That is because Athena took 6 weeks off. She, after Death Before Dishonor, she took 6 weeks off. And so that's why she didn't defend. She hasn't defended the title, but she is defending the title the day after my birthday on that episode of ROH. She is wrestling because Harley pinned her last week on Dynamite. Athena is defending her title against Harley on the November 20th episode of ROH. Whoever wins that title will take it into Final Battle, which clearly we know Final Battle is 5 days after Athena hits her 3 years as champion. So she's clearly going to get her 3-year milestone. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep flipping that around. Final Battle is 5 days before she hits her 3 years. So she's clearly retaining at Final Battle. So she can get her exact 3 years as champion. But so that's why she's not been, that's why she hasn't defended the title, is because she's been gone. She took time off and then they immediately did stuff with her in ROH. It's not happening. She will be at 365 days or 300 days as not 300 days. She'll be at 3 years. Good Lord, I'm getting myself 3 years exactly on December the 10th. Final Battle is December the 5th. She's going to get her 3 years as champion. There's no way Tony's going to make her drop it 5 days before. So she's definitely, it's going to be I think it'll be a solid match. I don't think it's going to be a squash. I think Harley is going to make her work for it. I'm sure Billy will get involved too. Because she said last night because Lexi is a former minion, she kicked her out of the minions. Athena did a few months ago. And so she said that she needs Billy to start helping her again. So I'm assuming she's going to make Billy cheat for her against Harley is probably where that's going. But yes, so yeah, it's not going to be but I don't think it's going to be a squash match. I think they'll give it, I don't expect it to go 20 minutes, but it's not going to be a minute and 50 seconds. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be that. And so with Final Battle now, we have, we also had at the ROH, the show this week, Commander lasted 10 minutes against Lee Moriarty in a proving ground match. And he gets a title match whenever he wants, which I assume will happen at Final Battle. So the card is starting to come together a little bit. So we know, so now we know the ROH pure or women's pure title or champion they'll be determined at Final Battle. Whoever wins between Athena and Harley is defending their title at Final Battle. Then they're doing, I assume they're doing Commander versus Lee Moriarty for the title, for the men's pure title. And then I'm sure they'll find somebody for Bandito to wrestle. And maybe Mercedes will defend the interim ROH women's title against Red Velvet at Final Battle. Maybe they'll do Red Velvet wants her title, but as she says, she's the rightful champion. She never relinquished it. Mercedes is just the interim. I assume we're getting Mercedes versus Red Velvet, I guess, at Final Battle. She'll do what MJF never did, which is show up on ROH programming. And now we know the national title will be also defended at Final Battle. So
yay!
Yeah. So that's what's happening over in ROH. We've had a bunch of developments all at once over there, and I guess the card is still going to fill out some more. Yeah. So that's what's happening in ROH land. And I don't know what they're going to do with Bandito. I don't know I think they'll do the Trios Championship. It'll probably be STP defending against, wait a minute, who was it? I feel like, was it LFI? Nikki, well, help me remember. Was it LFI that got involved with that match, which is weird because Sammy and Roosh have the tag team titles. So I don't know why they would want the 6-man titles too. But maybe that's what they're doing. They're also been building the team of the Outrunners and Dalton Castle for an AEW. They've wrestled a few times, so perhaps there's
good.
that. Yeah,
get into that.
Yes, that match between Mascara Dorada and Bandito was fantastic. I was so annoyed covering it just because there was so much happening, but as a fan, I loved it. It was so good. Okay, yes, thank you, Nikki. It was LFI who got involved. Like I said, Sammy and Roosh have the tag team titles. Maybe they're going to set up a 6-man match with them. Who knows? Who really ever knows what's happening at ROH? Because as I often ask, what are we doing here? And so I don't know what we're doing. Yes, I do too. I really would like to have more Dalton and the Outrunners. They are so much fun.
They're great.
They're really great.
I love the Outrunners. They never get old. That is the kind of member berries that works for me because of the way that they're doing it. Because they are being member berries, but they're also poking fun at the member berries all at the same time, and it works. Yes. It works so great. Their promos are amazing.
Yeah, and it's always funny that Dalton's like, I don't know how we're gonna top that. Like, we should just stop. Like, we're never gonna top this. And then the Outrunners are like, no, we need to give the people more. And then Dalton got scared by there was a big, because they were at Daly's place and there was a big jaguar statue backstage, and it had its mouth open and it scared Dalton because he didn't know it was behind him, and he jumped and was being very timid, just very Dalton Castle about it. It was just, I don't know. I've missed Dalton Castle on my TV. I love him so much.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun.
He's a lot of fun with the Outrunners. The Outrunners need something fresh for them. I think this would be fun. Yes. Fernando says the AEW Intergalactic Championship. And Crash.
I mean, we were having fun, a little bit of fun on the thread about it. So, I mean,
yeah.
It's I
appreciate
it. Maybe we should start the pre-Cambrian title. I
saw something yesterday that I think it was Truth, and he was work uniform, and it was he had on some crazy tiger shirt and zebra striped pants or something, and then he changed into it. It was his. They have because they have the gear that looks like the Newport carton, but they have the gear that looks like the Marlboro carton.
Oh yeah.
That's what he was wearing. Were those pants? I'm guessing they filmed for Collision. They filmed something for Collision last night. Amazing. I mean, not Collision, but ROH.
It's what they pull from that time frame that they use. That's funny. It's the weird.
They make it
stuff.
Work.
I mean, I half expect him to come out with one of those old radio type, the old our alarm clock radio we all had.
Yeah.
The one that you could crack over someone's head and take them out with.
Yes.
It made that noise that we all know when we hear it.
Right. I really hope that they are at ROH tapings next.
Me too. I hope they are too for you guys. That would be so great. So.
Yeah, because the last time that Dalton was here was at Collision, the Collision taping, but he was in a backstage segment only.
Yeah, we got to see them. I was so hyped. So I hope you do.
Yes, and he got he cut a backstage promo and got a huge pop. And I was like, put him on TV. I make beats said Anarchy in the Arena, not Anarchy in the Galaxy.
In the Galaxy.
Blood and guts in space.
The universal blood and guts in space.
Well, then if you have someone in 0 gravity, then you have to have gravity in that match. You have to bring him. Or you could also have the man that gravity forgot,
which is Pac.
Which is currently Pac. He was the former Neville, so you could have them, and maybe you have gravity and Pac.
And then anti-gravity.
We did get gravity on TV last night.
Pin anyone in a vacuum. Okay, that I'm just saying forever. That's coming with me. You can't pin people in a vacuum.
You can't. It's true. Crushes Dalton and Pac in a promo battle. I'm here for. Oh my god! Please.
Oh my gosh!
I think last night Pac. The way
I'm with the chat. I think that Pac is in his gear 100% of the time. I agree with you guys.
Last night when Pac, the way he said Greensboro, North Carolina was great.
It was.
And you can see that was the first promo that Daniel Garcia did not laugh at something Pac said. Because they were talking to Don Callis, and Wheeler Yuta was cracking me up because he was side-eyeing, like literally side-eyeing Don Callis the whole time in that segment. And then Pac was like, you can see, and I was telling Nikki, I was like, oh, Pac is getting little wings in the back. I was like, I wonder if he just decided to grow his hair back out or if he just hasn't gotten a haircut yet.
I don't know. I think he's just like permanently in his like, maybe I feel like that's like, not that he's level 1, because he obviously is like level 20, but that's like He decided to go back to his like level 1 gear or something. And then like as his hair grows out, he'll put on all his epic gear again.
There we go.
Or just take the shirt entirely off once the hair is long enough. You know what I'm saying? Go back to being just shirtless Pac because.
Yeah. Yes. Unfortunately, I remember that all the time about how Vince fumbled Neville.
Do you remember how many times Vince did dumb stuff to people over and over and over again?
Yes, and that's just what we know about.
Right? That's just in our lifetimes.
That we can. Right. In our lifetime. I will take that. Bad Apple Brian Keith would be fun against Gravity. I will take the more that and the belt. Actually, I will take Bounty Hunter Brian Keith because that's who we got on TV a couple of weeks ago, and that is the Brian Keith I want in AEW. That's the Brian Keith I knew before AEW. The little bit of exposure I had to him, but that's the guy.
Well, I mean, let's be real. He made the best. He took the learning tree and made a bad apple out of it, and that's like one of the best. Him and Big Bill were like the 2 best things about that situation.
It definitely was, and they were already. The thing is, Brian Keith didn't need that.
I know he was a
just
star.
Let him be what he was, but luckily he took what he was.
He
given.
Just went with it and became.
Brian's very good. I really enjoy him. A Newton Laws match.
You guys are great.
Oh, about the VKM thing.
She did it so everyone else would. She's like, I know what look she's going to give you all, so here you go. That's why we love you, Nikki.
Yes. Yeah, poor Pac. Thankfully, he got out of that situation. But yeah, like I was saying, we did get to see Gravity last night because they chased off Stoke. Because he was with his abuela on Wednesday when FTR were bothering her and Gravity was with her. And then last night, Stoke pulled the masks off and it was Bandito and Gravity, and they chased them up the ramp and then jet speed where they are waiting. And then Bandito and Gravity did they super kicked him. And so I don't know. I don't, because Gravity hasn't been in ROH and AEW for a while. He was not as polished as his brother, clearly had a long way to go. So he's not been around. So now I'm wondering if we're seeing him on TV. I mean, maybe it is part of the Bandito storyline, but maybe he's improved and maybe they're going to give him another shot and see what he can do on, in ROH, or maybe he was just a first story. I don't know, but it was fun to see the 2 of them.
Yeah.
Last night. And then maybe it said, I need a home video of Pac documentary style on his day-to-day life, but he's just in black trunks the whole time. This just reminded me. I just learned where the nickname Pac came from. I'm currently reading Fight Forever. That if you follow Myth Gifts on Twitter, she always has the really cool in-depth threads, usually about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and she wrote a book about them, talking about like most of it is like starts about like their career, like how they got started in wrestling and how their paths eventually merged, and she talks about she focuses on like some of the defining matches of their career. And it's a really interesting read, and it's just taking me forever to get through it. Not because it's hard to read, but part of it is I have it on my phone instead of having there is a physical copy, but I bought the digital copy. And so that's part of it. But anyway, she talks about when they went to the UK and they met Pac for the first time. And the reason his name is Pac is because that was his nickname in junior high, because he already had abs. He already had a six-pack. And so that's where
funny.
That's where Pac comes from.
That is awesome.
I was like, oh my God. I was like,
that is why he wears. So him not wearing his shirt is even better now.
Yes.
That's his whole gimmick since forever.
Right. Right. Yes.
That's hilarious. I love that.
Yeah, of course. Apparently, according to that book, and apparently,
that's fantastic.
That's the story that Kevin and Sami have told. And so according to this book, that is the reason.
That's amazing. I'm mad at myself because I haven't read any wrestling books this year. So I've got until December, and there's a couple out, and I'm trying to fit one in next. But
yeah,
that's
amazing.
It's
a really good book you can buy. I think the digital version is only I want to say $10, I think. And then there is a physical copy that I think at the time was $15. I don't know if it's going up. I know that was the introductory price when it first came out. And so it's really good. There's a lot of, and she's so good at details and noticing little things. And she talks about that a lot throughout their stories. I've been reading about I was reading about they're in the first time they went to ROH, they bombed, did not do well, eventually get brought back. They have this really intense feud with the Briscoes. They're trying to get the titles, and then Mark Briscoe gets injured in real life, and it kind of stops things. And then it talks about one stayed, Kevin stayed stateside and wrestled singles in ROH because Karina had just had their baby. Talks about how he met Karina, and it talks about, and it was funny because when I had read the part about him meeting Karina for the first time, they had just celebrated their 19th wedding anniversary on Halloween. And so I read it a day or two later. So it talks about how he met Karina, talks about him becoming a dad. And then it talks about them trying to get their footing and PWG and where they're wrestling and things like that. And eventually it gets to, I think it's going to get to the when they both signed to WWE, but I haven't quite gotten there yet. But it's really fascinating to read this stuff and read how they work together and how now I'm reading about their feud at ROH with the American Wolves, which is Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards. And so I'm reading about that. And they were talking about how Kevin and Sami are very specific about matches and have everything planned out to everything's super detailed, and how they would get into arguments with each other over very small things in matches, stuff like that. So it's just really fascinating to see how they work together. And then Friday, Kevin Owens posted a very short clip of him doing some rehab stuff, because after his neck surgery earlier this year, and he still has said, I don't know what the update is, that they said there was a possibility he would never wrestle again. They wouldn't know until they got in there, how bad it was. He's supposed to be out through at least WrestleMania next year. So he just posted this quick little clip of him training, and then it ended with a clip of his cat.
Good.
So I don't know where he is in his recovery process, if he's just kind of doing some rehab, if wrestling is even in his future, or what's happening there. But it was a positive thing to see that, because I love Kevin Owens. I do love Sami Zayn. I love Sami Zayn, but I love Kevin Owens, and I miss him so much. That's been one of the things, when I had to start watching again, is I at least got to see Kevin Owens. Thankfully. Yeah, SmackDown has definitely not been the same.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, even I love Kevin Owens the same as Zayn. And I love Kevin Owens. It's great.
Yeah,
I mean,
Kevin's great.
That's cool because they've been together for a long time.
So I highly recommend checking out that book. Because Myth Gifts is really cool. Like, if you don't follow her on Twitter, she's really cool about, because of her background, and like, I forget off the top of my head like the stuff that she does. So that's kind of like what she does anyway. Is she looks at all the little details that make up the stories, and so she's very good at telling these stories and explaining some of their motives and how Kevin reacts, especially how they react to each other. And even when they're apart, like how they react. And, it's just, she's very good at what she does, which is what sold me on the book. Cause I was like, I love her threads. So I was like, I'll buy that book. And I've really enjoyed it so far. And then, I've heard cool things like where Pac got his name from. And why in the beginning, nobody knew if it was Pac or Pac because it's spelled Pac like Tupac.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, no, it's Pac. And then because of his six pack.
That is totally cool.
Yes. So I highly recommend that. A few other things before we wrap up. Tom was our guest last week from Tom Talks Rubbish. He was here briefly at the beginning and I didn't get to say hello because we were mid-conversation. But my interview with him came out on Friday. Mel's interview with him comes out this Friday. So definitely go check those out. It was a really fun conversation. We talked about more of the podcasting side of things than the writing side of things, but of course they do kind of overlap here and there. But it was a really fun conversation, and it was just that. And then I believe he releases separately like the generic wrestling questions that we were talking about last week, like who's your favorite wrestler, favorite wrestling theme song, favorite tag, like that kind of cool stuff. So that's really fun. And then, like I said, Mel's will be out on Friday. So make sure that you go subscribe to Tom Talks Rubbish if you haven't already. Check out my interview if you are interested, and then go back to it next weekend and check out Mel's interview with him. And Garrett's got an interview on there.
And Garrett.
Collins, who has been a guest on this show, Collins has an episode on there. He's talked to all kinds of wrestling creators and wrestling media,
and it's a good time.
Yeah, it is really cool. And so, listen, it is very hard to pick a wrestling. Like, I was just thinking of all these things, and like I told Tom afterwards, I would think of things afterwards. I'm like, dang, I wish I had said that. And he was like, it happens all the time. So
it's good. It's a good conversation starter because it makes people maybe ask you other questions later on.
Yeah. Right. And then, and those answers, especially some of those answers, I think could change, especially like the theme.
Oh, yeah.
And like, who's your current favorite wrestler? And, and then my favorite was obviously like, who's your favorite tag team? And of course, I think everybody here knows who my favorite tag team, my first favorite tag team, my main favorite tag team, and then my secondary that's right there with them. And then also this one, the Revolt, I had to wear this after our conversation last week. This is actually the shirt they released after FTR tried to steal their gimmick.
Nice.
And it's based off of, because they had their thing, FTR's thing was no flips. It was something like no flips, no fucks, because they don't do flippy shit. So this one says all flips, no fucks. And it also says love wrestling, hate fascism.
Well, that's true.
So
I can get into both. That is a sentiment I can get behind.
Yeah, they do, and they have another shirt there's another Revolt shirt that has the anti-fascist thing on it, and they've got their other stuff. But yeah, so I was like, yes. Yeah. Nikki said his other question should be, what theme song do you hate? Well,
no nagging.
Surprisingly, that is not a question. I don't think that was a question, is what's your favorite move?
Although Sam's is a destroyer and mine is a suplex, if you go all the way back to the beginning.
Yes. I have a shirt that I will be wearing on Wednesday, is my Bad Bitches for Canadian Destroyer shirt. Yes. Except for every time I've worn that shirt to a wrestling show, I have gotten 0 Canadian destroyers.
Then you're due.
I am due. I was like, I mean, I guess technically Sky Blue could do a code red. I mean, hers is the code blue, which is similar to a Canadian destroyer, but not quite the same. There's obviously a little bit of difference there. But yeah, that's probably the closest.
I am gonna like. You're gonna be destroyers and awesome wrestling, and maybe magically the women will end up at the end of the card. And oh my gosh,
fingers crossed. And no FTR.
You never know.
FTR,
you never know.
No mention of them. No, we don't come out and do anything. We keep our. And then hopefully I'm just gonna be greedy, and hopefully I get Athena. And hopefully greedy. I get a healthy workhorseman as well. Oh yeah, Ushigoroshi is really that's a good
great
one.
move.
Nikki and I say a lariat. We say it like that all the time because that's how Walker says it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Ooh,
it's kind of like the way I say athlete because that's how broadcasters say it because it has that extra syllable when broadcasters.
I love a Spanish fly too.
Mm-hmm.
I do love a Spanish fly.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've talked about it.
Well, a 619 was literally my first favorite move of all time because I love Rey Mysterio and I love the 619.
Is great. And then in other companies, they call it an area code, which I think is great.
Hilarious. Well, that's why, and Billy Stark, she does like a frog splash or something, doesn't she? Because like Eddie Guerrero is a hero or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she does one. And then obviously, and then obviously, and several of the luchas do the frog splash, and then of course Mercedes does the Three Amigos, which was Eddie's thing as well. Favorite submission, all the wild stuff the ASJ does,
pretty much.
And Hechicero just does all kinds of shit, and I hate covering his matches because I never know what they're called, and then commentary doesn't know either, especially if Excalibur's not on the call.
Suzuki did it first though, so
who did?
Minoru Suzuki did it first though, so
Yeah, he did do some of those first. But
he did it until Zach outpowered him.
Yes. And then Hechicero just I'm convinced Hechicero makes up moves on the spot.
I think he does, actually.
I think he just does. Cattle mutilation is a really good one. And I saw a clip. Shotzi did the cattle mutilation at I don't know if it was a GCW show this weekend or an indie show, but I saw a clip of her doing the cattle mutilation, which is really cool. Yeah, the cattle mutilation is such a really insane thing. But then Mel and I talked about way back in the day, we love Okada's drop kicks because they're so precise. Perfect. They're every single time they're precise and calculated. And then Shibata's these wild ones that you never know exactly where it's going to land because of the way he runs, and you never know. But I love Okada's drop kicks. Of course, the Rainmaker and stuff, and I love the One-Winged Angel and things like that. But an Okada,
it's really amazing when you can take a basic move and make it look like, oh my god, that is the greatest thing ever. It's it's a drop kick. No, it's Okada's drop kick. There's a difference.
I was just answering.
No worries.
Nikki was saying she's fine. She's a fan of the Busaiku knee, and she said I spelled it wrong on purpose because I don't know how to spell it. So I spelled it.
Sam had to because she knows how to spell it. Because
I have to know how to spell it because I have to write it in the thing, and I have to. I have a list. It's very small, but of some of the Japanese spellings of words,
like Insagiri and stuff like that.
Well, Gamengiri and Ushigoroshi. There's one other one that I had because I couldn't remember it. I couldn't find them anywhere, and I finally found them somewhere, and so it's in my notes so that when I start a match, I can go find it. Yes. yes. It's still a Psycho Knee to me, damn it.
It is what it is.
I swear that's what I thought it was called for literally the longest time. So to
why
me,
not?
And then it didn't help because Tommaso Ciampa did it, and he was a Sicilian psycho.
Oh,
and
there you go.
So I also thought that's why.
That's okay.
Yeah, this is perfect. Had a great drop kick. Yes, the burning hammer bells look crazy. Shotzi would be a lot of fun. I like what she's doing, that she's going on the indies and rediscovering herself, because when she was on the indies, she was doing great.
Awesome.
But in WWE, she regressed so much because they took away everything that made her cool on the indies and tried to make them wrestle their style, and it did not work for her. So I'm glad that she has been tearing it up on the indie scene, especially on the West Coast, and is like been getting back to who she was before they signed her. And so I really like that she went that route first and was like, let me figure this out before if I end up signing somewhere. So I really
before I get back into a thing.
Yeah. Yes, Nikki was talking about, she also thought it was Psychoni. So we were, Nikki and I, just for the longest time.
Okay. For you guys, it is the Psychoni.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, and we talked about it on the show a few months ago, and then it was Josiah who was like, that's not it. It is to me.
It's always going to be Sam's. Sam has her own finisher name, okay?
I do. Why not? I use the professional one when I write because I have to, but for this show,
right.
It's the Psycho. For everything else, it's the Psychoni.
Right.
Crush said, the Paradise Lock. Seriously, is it an insider troll, or what do you think? Probably. It probably did start out as a troll.
I'm sure it did. It's an old move, too. It comes from like way back. It is an old move.
Yeah. It would not surprise me. It probably...
Not at all.
Yeah, it would not surprise me at all. The Stundog Millionaire is another sick move, but yeah, that is a good one. Shotzi did gain confidence in WWE, if anything. Yeah, thankfully for that. And then I think in-ring wise, she regressed a lot. But she's from what I've seen on the indies, she's definitely picked that up as, she's definitely done really well for herself and kind of rebuilt. And she's just been doing some crazy shit. I see clips of her all the time. She's doing like death matches.
I'm glad. She's
like doing death matches. She looks like she's having a blast.
It's a good. It's good because she was great on the indies. I got to see her a couple times.
Yeah. Crash said that he's gonna have to try the Paradise Lock on his boss once he quits work, and that's
the best way to go.
Leave him there some evening on the floor of his office. Then you have to tell them then they're gonna have to look up how to get out of it and what you have to do.
Correct.
Unless you come back and do it, where you come back and get him out of it by running up and kicking him.
There you go.
In the ass.
I like this outcome.
Yeah.
I like where this is going.
Yeah, Nikki says to record it and send it.
Yeah, seriously.
For real.
That we need to see that.
Yes.
Exactly. Monetize that crap.
Right, exactly. Ooh, yeah.
The greatest quit ever.
Right, yeah. Technical relief because it's simple and effective and it really hurts. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Fair enough.
And I do love I also love why did I forget what it's called? I can see it plainly right now, and I'm
a big fan of the Gotch style pile driver on occasion.
Yeah, that could be a good one.
Good one.
Yes. Yeah. I really like I like Ace Austin's finisher, the fold that he's been doing. That's a cool one. But I love me a buckshot lariat.
Well, yes.
It's so good.
That was in my brain too. I was like, yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, a blue thunder bomb.
Oh yeah.
Good. I love Sammy. Sammy was finally pulling out a couple because he'd stopped doing the blue thunder bombs, and when he was U.S. champion, he pulled it out. Actually, won a couple matches with them because there was a while that Sammy would do the blue thunder bombs and would not win a match with him. But then when he was doing that last title run, he won a couple of matches with it, and we were excited about. Yeah, Takeshita has a beautiful. He really has a beautiful blue thunder bomb. I really like his Raging Fire too. Yes. Yeah, Omega has a ton of precision with his big moves. Jermaine says that interesting that Shotzi is doing her second indie show with Mercedes in the past month. Makes you wonder if the two are going to cross paths and wrestle each other. They may, yeah, because wasn't Shotzi Mercedes, or wasn't Mercedes Shotzi's first opponent in HOG a few months ago? Or am I thinking of somebody else? I think that's who it was. I could. Oh, yeah. Yes. The Deadeye / Rite of Passage. Yeah, that's a good one, too. Yes, and Sammy. And Sammy. And like when AJ hits the Ushigoroshi. Yes. Yes, Takesha's Germans are goated. They're so good. And then, yeah, like you said, just about everything that Zach does. He's just so, literally. Especially because that's his, his thing is if they don't tap out in 6 seconds, then you switch to another one. And so he's always just doing so many things. Damn it. I was trying to see the final score of the Panthers game.
No,
they lost. But yes, so there's a lot of really good moves. And there's a move that the Motor City does, and they don't ever say what the name of it is. And for a while, Alex was like posting different pictures or clips of their various things that they do, like Skull and Bones and all this stuff. But the one, I don't think they have a specific name for it. And if it is, I don't know what it is, but it's where Alex will wrench back on the wrestler and then Chris does like the run-in baseball slide into them. I love that move. And other people have taken it from them, but nobody ever calls it anything. They just call it like generic tag team. Like they'll be like, oh, look at that great submission, or look at that great, that innovative move that they do. They've been doing that move forever, and I still don't know what it's called. Yes. I don't know if I have a favorite Zack Sabre Jr. move, because
everything he does.
And then they always have some very Zack Sabre Jr. name where it looks like an emo song from 2010, where it's like 18 words long.
Correct.
Oh, thank you, Jermaine. Thank you. It was Indy, not Shotzi. Thank you. I knew that. And then after I said it, I was like, I don't think that's right. Thank you. Yes, Michael Cole never calls anything by their names, and it drives me insane when I'm trying, on the few times that I have to do live coverage, and he doesn't. He just talks. Michael just talks to talk. And
he's kind of a lazy.
Yeah, he talks to talk. Corey says things to instigate things. So does Wade Barrett. And then Booker T and Vic Joseph are the worst commentary in all of professional wrestling. They are god awful because Booker T just makes noises and just says, oh yeah, a bunch. And then Vic plays off of it or in spite of him, but Vic is not good either. And they are terrible. They are by far the worst commentary team. I hate, and I cannot remember what the move is, but they call it the wrong thing. I'm like, that's not what that is. Like, and they kept doing it.
Of course,
like when I had
to
cover the Heat Wave pay-per-view, they did it like 3 or 4 times, and I was like, that's not what that is. And so I called it the proper name, and I was like, shut up. It's like, yeah, Booker T just rambles. He knows that he has a guaranteed paycheck, and he's not going, and because he doesn't say anything bad about Vince McMahon, he knows that he's basically got a job forever. I love some Harlem Heat back in the day, and then Booker T had to be Booker T and ruin all that. Damn it. Yeah. Zach did take a page out of early Fall Out Boy song titles.
Sure did.
Booker T is annoying. He is annoying. And he has lots of really bad opinions when it comes to women's wrestling. I mean, he has bad opinions in general, but specifically.
They don't get better when it gets to the ladies.
No. And then we talked about it on here last year, the whole handling of the Rachel Rose situation was really terrible, and he protected an abuser over his wrestler, and I don't have anything. I don't have much good things to say about Booker T, which is unfortunate because I used to really like Booker T a lot, and then I appreciate his contributions to wrestling, but
yeah,
that's about it. Yeah. Oh, Nikki said that she was thinking that. Yeah, I think they were. Yeah, they were. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they were calling something a DDT, and it was not a DDT. I was like, no, what are y'all talking about? That's not it. Booker T speaks in tongues. Yeah, that's a pretty good way to describe it. Oh yeah, that was for a really long time. Big Stevie, where is Big Stevie Ray? Or asking where he was always our running joke. Like they would be like, somebody's coming back, and we were like, is it Big Stevie Ray? And then one time it really was Big Stevie Ray. And that was also our thing. Like 1 year we used to always joke where Shane McMahon, and then Shane McMahon came back. Because we always knew, I was like, Shane's never coming back, and then he did. And now we know for real he's never coming back. And I don't want him to. Jermaine says Shotzi was at WPW when Mercedes beat Jody for the title, and now Shotzi will be at the HOG show where Mercedes will go up against Danny Phoenix. Somebody said way back in our comments, we were in the middle of a conversation, and I did not mean to ignore those comments, but I believe they said Mercedes retained her Bestia championship today. It was way back in the comments, and we were in the middle of a conversation, and luckily for us, we have a chatty group. So it got pushed, but good for her. I think it's going to be a little bit before she starts losing them. I do think she's losing to Toni, Chris, but I think it might be a little bit before she starts losing titles, unless the ROH interim title, she loses that one at Final Battle, then maybe. Yeah. Crash says if that was Tony Schiavone, he was always messing up names from the early days. That's charming, though. Hey, at least he tried to get.
I don't know. I'm starting to worry about Tony.
There are times, sometimes Tony.
There's been some times where I literally in the thread, not this past week, but the week before, was like, "Is Tony drunk or sick?"
Yeah, because Crash said, "Didn't Nigel have to correct Tony this week for something?" I believe.
Well, and
he
they
did.
Cut to him in it. I don't know if he was drunk or if maybe there's some neurological stuff going on.
Hope not,
because he's. Like his words seem slurred. There was like a day where I was like, is he drunk? Like he sounded.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned. It's like, I mean, obviously we all age and our brains do what they do.
Sure.
There's been a few times now with Tony where I'm starting to like have serious concerns about what's going on, whether he's got either a drinking problem or maybe a health problem. Which is a health problem, but you know.
Right.
What I mean.
Well, right. Of course. Yeah.
You know what I mean.
But at least what I was going to say was at least Tony would correct himself where Kevin Kelly would not.
Oh, no.
He would just not give a shit.
No, as a matter of fact, he'd be mad at you for correcting him, probably.
Right. Yes, he would get mad at you for correcting him. And then he could not say Andrade El Idolo for nothing.
Why, Kevin Kelly? Why?
But thankfully, thankfully we have Walker Stewart in New Japan.
Yes, he's lovely.
Thank God we have him. And we have Ian Riccaboni, who I know that he's a family man and he's got a day job and he got his degree, he got another degree and he's very busy and he's on the school board. But if there ever comes a day that Ian Riccaboni would like to do commentary full time, I would gladly accept him as a full-time commentator because he is a delight. I love listening to him and Caprice on ROH. They're so good. I love them together, and he's great on the times that they do get him on AEW television. He always does a really great job. I think he's great and I love him. But yes, thankfully we have Walker Stewart.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. So I think we have reached the end of our programming. Thank you for listening to all of the topics
all the topics
to get through
every time. And thank you for being involved. We appreciate you guys.
And thank you, even though we could not participate in the Saved by the Bell portion of the conversation that you were having amongst yourselves.
We're very grateful for you guys here and enjoying yourselves in the comments.
Yes. we really we appreciate that. Yes, all the fans. So we have a special guest next week.
We do have a special guest.
Are we keeping it a secret or doing the big reveal when we make our announcement for next Saturday show or next Sunday? We make the announcement on Saturday is what I'm trying to say.
I think here's what I'll suggest. I'll suggest that if you're one of the people in here, and I know some of you are, who partake of the Wrestling Observer live show on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, you should maybe hang out there and you might see a face that you recognize promoting another situation that might go on next weekend. And I'll just leave it there. So,
okay. Yes.
The promotion for where might come on Saturday next week.
Okay. Yes.
Winky,
so
wink.
Next Sunday, be sure to tune in because we have a special guest.
We do.
Again, yes, lady Keela has been on our show many times. She was actually just on for the Halloween live stream, and
she will be back for our pre-show.
For Full Gear, the pre-show for Full Gear, because I told her that QT Marshall had a match on the pre-show, and she feels the same way about QT that I do.
And Mel's gonna be kicking it with the producer thing and listening to Sam and Keela cutting promos on QT Marshall that day.
Yeah, so
getting my popcorn and those 3D glasses, and I am just gonna let you two go.
So yeah, we're gonna have that, and then there's also something special coming up at the end of the month that we're working on.
A lot this month.
Yeah, we got a lot of cool
stuff. We got a packed November.
We do have a packed November. That's kind of how it played out. And lucky for us, people want to come hang out with us.
Yes.
Which we appreciate. Or they want to have us on their show, like
Tom
Talks Rubbish, and we were on The Prescription the week before with Dr. Larry, who is a fan of our show, and we got to be a part of his show, which was really cool. We had a really great conversation with him. So it's been a busy few weeks and will be, but we're glad for it. We're glad that you guys are along with us and in the chat, or if you're not in the chat, you just lurk and come hang out. We appreciate that too. And we'll be back next Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern with a special guest. Yes, even though somebody in the chat's already figured it out.
Maybe you have. It's wrestling, you never know.
You